from the Catch podcast.
Yeah.
Brad, we had a good conversation. I'm so glad I recorded on StreamYard because I forgot to hit record for like the first 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got all the audio. That's all set and I can splice it. But honestly, I think that the stuff that I downloaded is going to be fine.
Perfect.
This weekend's been a mess. Oh, it's going to be a good show. I got a good feeling about that. And I got a very interesting catch. Look, we got Jay Manning in the house. Jay, how we doing, buddy?
What's up, Jay?
We're in the process of getting the show together. So you guys feel free to jump in and leave some stuff in the chat. We'll talk about all this kind of stuff. We got a bunch of folks. Binya, what's up? What do we got here? Oh, just got a hog. A hog. Nice. Metal Jones in the house. What's up? Homies. Wolf of Walmart says, hey, let me in for a minute. I'm all set up. Holy shit, we got a bunch of folks in here. Michael Bradley, Kirk, how we doing, buddy? John Hagens, how we going? How we doing? Wolf of Walmart. Wolf of Walmart's doing some. You know, Wolf of Walmart's got a podcast coming out, right?
Yes, yeah, he called me. Let me know.
It was kind of adorable. He called and was just like,
I need to take this to the 5 families before they think it's a problem.
And I said, no, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, shit, Dave, you even have headphones. Headphones are good. Are they wired or are they wireless? That's a big deal. I'm telling you. Like vinyl is final. Wired always works. Wireless, if you broadcast it, they will comment. That's true. That is very true. We have a good show this week, guys. When we get this sucker going, like we have a fantastic show. All right, let me go ahead. I got an FTG from Kevin from Biohazard Bass, and that is just, it's so good. Like, it's so good. It's so nice to have the shoe on the other foot. I'm just going to say that. Like, this is like we get a lot of people who complain about kayakers. Or I'm sorry, we get a lot of kayakers that complain about other folks on the body of water. This is flipped. This one is actually a kayaker being a piece of shit.
Interesting. Okay.
Which happens. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I have a theory. There are assholes in every group.
Well, of course.
Limit it. There we go. All right. There we are. Let's extract it. Let's call it Kevin Biohazard Bashing. FTG. Beautiful. And I love it when we get new folks calling in for FTGs because it's just, it's always makes it more interesting. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about when I say FTG is a portion of the podcast where we basically allow people to air their grievances about all of a myriad of categories. Pretty much anything goes. And we let them kind of make their thing. Won't be here long. I'm probably going to pass out. Benny has been on the water. Got my cam, my mic, my headphones. Fuck it. Dave, you want to be our guest co-host this week? Fuck it. I'm sending you the link. Fuck it. It's been a hot minute. What the fuck is Dave? What works better for you, Dave? Email or text for sending you a link? I can do either. He says I can for a bit.
Dude, so before I tell you, I'll talk about it on the show, but this is like, so you know the body of water by me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say it on here.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, 3-pound smallie out there the other day.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, the colors on it were gorgeous. And I couldn't get a picture of it because the thing was full of fucking spunk. And as I was like lipping it, just got unhooked. The thing shook right out of my hand off the deck into the water. I was like,
shut
fuck.
the oh
yeah.
Into being a freaking boat guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, Zach, you say that. You're like, as Bobby makes his final moves into becoming a freaking boat guy, took the kayak out this week. So what do we have here? What is? Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. That's perfect. I'm going to incoming email Dave with the link. That's right. Right. Yep. And send booyah. And that should close in a moment. I love life.
All right.
I took the kayak this week, so I got that to talk about. And
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
why I'm probably not taking the kayak out again for the rest of the year. It has nothing to do with the boat.
Okay.
But why? Yeah. It's my favorite thing to give you shit about because I ain't got one. I'm telling dude, like Bobby getting into a boat and I'm selling mine. See, Zach, let's make a deal. Can we do that? Let's make a deal right here on the show. You know? What are you looking for, Binya? What are you looking for? That boat, I figure you're probably going to starting price. You start, let's say 22K. Is that what you're looking for? 22K. Do I hear 23?
I'll sell mine if the number's right.
Numbers are right. There we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to sandwich.
Oh, it sounds awesome too.
Well, the microphone's like right next to my mouth, but yeah.
No, and it should be.
Kind of like.
I'm just gonna pull a Metal Jones and be like, "Hey, Bobby."
Hey, Bobby. I'm a bastard, man.
I
Bobby
don't have
getting into a boat and sell mine. I don't know if I could sell it to Zach. I like him.
Yeah.
There you go, Zach. See, that's the beautiful thing, though, about Jigs and Bigs, right? Like, Bobby's boat is kind of like the people's boat. When I explain this week, you'll understand why. Like, this is what it's... Dude, it's really all about it. You know what I mean?
Implication.
The fucking implication. I had many people on the implication. I had a minor on the implication today. Oh, what? I did.
How's the boat treating you though? How many times have you been out now? Would you say
40?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've
dude,
cashed
awesome.
in. Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, I've been going out like 3 or 4 days a week.
You're vetted.
And yeah. And when I divide up the payment and I look at it, I'm like, nope, this works out. This works out. Yeah, this is definitely a good thing. I'm about to jump on the electronics bus, and that's going to be. There's decisions that need to be made.
What kind of decisions? What are you looking at, or is this something that we can't talk about now?
No, we could definitely talk about it. We talked a little bit about it in the last episode with where I am, and now I'm actually. I was like, do I want to go to the jump to the 9? And I'm like, do I want to say fuck it and just put a 12 at the console?
At the console, 12. Yeah, all day.
Yeah. Because I do want to utilize the shit out of some of this stuff. We'll see what we
Did you make a decision on the graph?
Not 100%. I'm definitely leaning toward the same one that I was looking at. Maybe just upsizing the screen. It's going to come down to cost. Slower, lower fishing. Did I really catch Jigs and Bigs live? Yeah, you really caught it. We're just about to start recording, man.
Shout out lower. What's up, dude?
Shout out to you wearing a proper shirt.
I was actually talking to John a little bit today because I saw he threw a boat he just did up on TikTok and the thing was gnarly. So I just had to text him real quick and be like, dude, that thing is filthy.
Have you seen his Lund, the V-Bass 2075?
I haven't yet. I'm sure he's gonna make it absolutely insane.
You are going to lose your mind. It's absolutely some of the stuff he's doing with this thing. It's just so stupid, planned out. It's so badass. Yeah. It's a great boat. That is if I were to get into the Bass platform, that's probably what I'd be looking at.
Yep.
For the flexibility of it all, Zach asked, he says, you getting you getting live scope? I don't have one of those either. I'm gonna start thinking of shit to say right now. I am not getting forward facing sonar because there isn't a need for it. I'm not doing tournaments. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm kind of using this boat as a way to show people you can do this on a realistic budget. You don't have to go all out and buy a 22-foot Phoenix or a fucking, anything like that. You can do this and fish with people that you want and take multiple people out and, do this and make it relatively affordable, I mean,
yeah.
So we're all.
Don't worry, Zach. You can run the pedal on the live scope up at St. Lawrence River. I'll let you have
That's exactly it. Yeah, if you want to toy around with that, you know the one.
Yeah.
What a
Bobby
great
can't
partner.
collaborate his fucking drone, let alone forward-facing sonar. No. Drone is all straightened out now. Drone is all straightened out. It's absolute fucking dumbass move on my part, skipping one step and linking it. So I'll explain. Trust me. So you and Joe are like yin and yang. In a lot of ways, we are. And that's why Jigs and Bigs is all about the whole angler, not the angler's hole. I should be starting.
Funny you should say that.
I know, right?
Did I send you the photo?
I don't even know if I've seen it yet, to tell you the truth.
I'll send you a photo.
You might have sent it while I was napping, and I'll explain why.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll send it to you either way. But what I was going to ask you is, what do you have on your kayak for electronics right now?
On my kayak, I have a hook, a Lowrance Hook Reveal 7 triple shot. So I have side scan on that, and I recommend it. I wouldn't say that it's a necessity though, because on a paddle kayak, don't bother.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to be paddling along and like marking spots on side scan or anything like that. But
you have to haul, because I've tried it. I have side scan on mine, and I was just like just cranking, trying to just get a good read. It's so hard, but with a pedal drive,
it's a little bit better. I'm still not mapping like bodies water like I want to, like I will be doing in the Lund.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be interesting. Those anglers.
That logo is awesome, dude. I love it.
It is badass.
Yeah.
It's a little fucking Humpty and a little fucking traditional tattoo.
I love it. Yeah.
It's fucking perfect, dude.
Dude, I had to put my face on a fish, you know?
Dude, you fucking nailed it. You fucking nailed it. Did you do that yourself, or?
No, my tattoo artist did it for me. I traded him a old camping pole mini motorcycle for it.
Oh, there you go.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
I never used it. So
all right,
kid.
So we got headlines. We got Dave. We got Brad Hicks in the beef seat.
Oh yes.
We got what else is going on? A whole week of insanity. I'm gonna go ahead and open up these notes so I've got them. Did I put them all in here? My stuff. Week in progress. I did. There we go. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Sweet boys.
Yeah.
Watch so much St. Lawrence shit, I might actually know my way around. That's a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah, the elites were just up there. Actually, I think they got one more day. The elites were up there. It was bad. The St. Lawrence fishing is crazy, and the crazy part about actually we'll talk about it on the show. But yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do this. I am rolling. We're fucking rolling right there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mute this channel right here, and I'm gonna do this. We are rolling in 3, 2. Alrighty, guys. Bobby Roast Beef here, Jigs and Bigs. Another amazing week of fishing podcast content for you. We have such good stuff this week, guys. We got Dave Urkey guest hosting with us. This is like a last-minute audible call. He's here. He's going to be talking about some stuff he's got going on. We have an FTG this week that is amazing because I feel like for the first time, the roles are reversed, and I'll explain what I mean about that later. I've done a whole lot of fishy shit this week. Got lots of stuff to talk about. Did a send in the kayak. Got information about that. Joe did a lot of fishy shit as well. So we have lots of fishy stuff to be talking about. Bunch of headlines this week as well, including some very local news in Western Massachusetts where we had a body recovered by an angler. Let's throw that in the catalog, the file folder. Shit Bobby Roast Beef hopes never happens while he's on the water. Go ahead, grab yourself something to enjoy. Grab a crisp, cold Diet Coke or whatever it is that you choose. And we'll see you guys in a bit with more Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. Ladies, gentlemen, jig heads, how are you guys? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having themselves a great ass time out there. Who the fuck is Joe Brown? Dave Urkey, how are you boys? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Doing awesome.
It's been a crazy weekend. You guys can probably hear. Let's just get the pink elephant, out of the room. Bobby's sick, so he sounds like shit. We're just gonna move on. Let's just do that.
Fair.
Good with it. Yeah. Yep.
I will be on this mute button hardcore, hacking and coughing away. But yeah, dude, I've like started on Wednesday and I started to get this little like bit of like postnasal drip. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. Thursday and Friday, just mega congestion. It's finally started clearing up a little bit, but it's moving south. And I just said, screw it. I had to go fishing this weekend. How about you guys? What's been going on? How are things in your world?
Joe?
Good. Okay, I can go. Things are awesome, man. Did a ton of fishing this week. Did a ton of fishing this week, so I probably won't be able to do any this week. So I got some training going on at work for the next week. So I will not have the time. On top of that, my daughter's starting school this week, so
that's right.
Yeah, her first day of school is coming Wednesday. So busy with
is
that.
This kindergarten for Emma?
Fucking kindergarten, dude.
Wow, dude, this is a big step. This is a big day.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, man.
I'm a little stressed out because we ordered her because it's a private school, so she has like school uniforms. Those motherfuckers haven't come in yet. So
dude,
$50,
crunch,
a shirt.
Yeah. So it's like crunch time. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, well, worst case, we'll just send her with a blank one, and just is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
my son has something similar.
Yeah. So other than that, man, I'm pumped to talk my week of fishing coming up and or that I just had, and got some funny stories, got some sad stories of not catching much, but yeah, we'll get into it.
It's going to be a roller coaster ride. Like it really, like it just is. How have you been, Dave? It's been a hot minute since we've had you on the show. What's been going on?
What hasn't been going on, man? Dude, I'm stoked you let me in here. I was just like kind of joking around, like, let me in. I got all my stuff, but I appreciate you doing it.
Dude, that's perfect. Let's go ahead and pop you on here. I was like, we haven't had a guest co-host in a hot minute. You know, now we get the best of both worlds because we have a guest co-host and a guest in the beef seat. It's always a good thing. You know?
Oh, yeah, perfect. No, and Brad, I love Brad, dude. In fact, I'll tell you a little bit about Brad coming up. But so my week, I didn't really get to fish because the week prior I did the kayak demo and all that kind of stuff. Took the baby out, the wife. We all got wet. It was fun. Nice. I sent you the video. It's gonna be funny. But this week, but this week I've been grinding real hard at work, and then when I'm off work, I've been doing work on my computer trying to get PNG files and all that kind of stuff set up because Brad and Matt over the Catch podcast, they offered me a little slot to kind of run my own show, do my own thing. So
that's awesome, dude.
I'm beyond grateful.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be different, dude. For sure. It's not gonna be like your normal thing. I'm definitely trying to gear it more towards like the angler more than the angler's accomplishments. So
exactly,
yeah. So it's appropriately titled The Whole Angler. And then every now and then I'll probably have a fun show, bring my buddy Andy on. We'll call it the B-hole angler and bring him on and just let him do his thing. It'll be real fun. Me and Andy, we get together. In fact, that's what's working so hard during the week, this last week and this week, because Friday, me and Andy are going out. We're going to do a whole current water send and have a good time together. So,
oh, nice, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That is freaking awesome.
His birthday's on the 27th, so it's kind of a gift. His wife got a hold of me. We got him a Garmin 93 SV, little sonar mapping for his Hobie PA. So we're gonna be test driving that come this Friday. It'll be great. So
that's fucking awesome, dude. Well, hey, good for him, and happy birthday, Andy.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Nice. Life's been good, dude. Kids are getting big. Wife and me are doing well. So
that's what happens, man.
Can't complain.
It's fucking wild, dude. The way kids grow up and school years start, they come and go. And next thing you know, you have like adult children and you're like, who the fuck even are you?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. I got to tell you, Dave, I love the fact that you're getting in the whole podcast game. I got to get on that show. So you let me know when you're ready. We'll do some talking. Cause if there's one thing that Bobby Roast Beef loves doing,
it's talking holes.
Say less. You don't even have to ask. I already got you on the docket anyways.
I love it. Metal Jones says, happy birthday, Wiener Fingers. Yeah. I think the sentiment is from all of us as well. Well, actually, Dave, I know you said you have a limited amount of time. Go ahead and tell us that story about Brad Hicks, because this might be a great little way to hook folks to stick around for the interview later on in the show.
Oh, okay. Well, it's more of a Brad and Matt they allowed me to do the podcast type thing. That was more of the story. Like, but
Oh, okay.
it was
All right,
kind
all
of funny because me and Brad and Matt have a chat that we do quite
Yeah.
often.
I got that
And
impression.
yes, yeah. And so it's pretty next level chat. And we found out that we're basically three of the same person separated by, a distance. And yeah, so being able to step up and kind of work alongside those guys is I'm super grateful to Brad and Matt for letting me do it. So that was
Fuck yeah.
kind of it was just a thank you appreciation. Brad,
Awesome.
I don't know how his interview is going to go, but I can tell you he's one of the most genuinely awesome dudes.
Well, it's interesting. I've been looking forward to having these guys on for a while, and I figured I was going to have them both on. And then Brad hit me up in was it last episode, last week or the week before? He called and left a message on the voicemail. He's like, "Bobby, I want to be on the beef seat." So I was like, "Fuck it, let's go ahead and do this." So I'm kind of glad that I got him because it's more of like an angler spotlight. I didn't realize some of this stuff about Brad. Like I didn't realize the wealth of knowledge he had specifically in the kayak game with the vast amount of different kayaks that he's had out there. And also we had a little bit of fun. We played a little overrated, underrated, Ohio edition. And I only hit him with a couple of things, but I think his feedback is going to be pretty interesting, especially on one of those things. And like we got to know like his preferences for fishing, like what he thinks overall as far as river fishing versus like big water like Erie and things like that. We dive into a lot of good stuff. So stick around for that. That's in our third segment. You're not going to want to miss it. But let's go ahead and talk fishy shit.
Yes.
Why don't we talk fishy shit?
Calm down.
What do you Dave, you have anything you want to throw in? I know you said you don't have a whole lot going on, but you have any fishy shit you want to throw in?
Lately my fishing is okay. I got a heartbreaking story real quick. There's been a local pond that I've been able to fish for, 4 years straight. Ever since I started fishing, I've been able to go down there, catch a bunch of tanks, have a good time. It's just a little honey hole that I would take the buddies or my son, and we would go catch some good fish. There's one property adjacent to this entire pond, and they don't own the whole property. But this guy has decided that he has hired private security to keep people from fishing the pond. So when you go down there to fish the pond, private security comes and requests that you leave. Now, the only reason it's a problem is because the rest of the pond has been fenced off in the last 6 months. So the only place to go fish is right near his property line. It's not crossing his property line, but the private security doesn't care, and they will remove you armed. So that was not a very fun. Yeah, that wasn't a very fun adventure I had the other day.
Wow.
So that's my
fun.
sad fishy stuff. Yeah, it's really fun. I don't know. I was going to do a whole FTG, but I didn't videotape the security, removing me. So, but I told them they'd see me again. So chances are I'll get it on video for you and we'll have a good time. But the good fishing stuff, I get to take my daughter on walks, dude. I get to take my daughter on walks a couple times a week. We go in the stroller, and I live right next to a creek. So part of the walk is putting her to sleep. So I walk her to a nice little quiet shaded point, and then I just fish until she falls asleep. And she loves it because I'll catch a fish, she'll play with it, she'll hold it, and then put it back in the water. 20 minutes later, dead asleep. So my fishing has been BFS only, and it's been pretty fun. A bunch of little small spotted bass. It's been a great.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah, so that's my fishing.
That's not too bad at all. Actually, one of our jig heads just popped some fishy shit in here. And this is kind of funny. Slower Lower Fishing chimes in and goes, went bass fishing a lake yesterday. I skunked my 11-year-old, caught 2 catfish, 6 crappie, and a dozen bluegills. I'm switching to worms, he says. That sounds like my dad. My dad refuses to not take the night crawlers out. And this week we didn't go out and fish either. He's been up in Maine this week and on vacation, so we didn't get out this week. Joe, what do you got for fishy shit?
Oh man, I had a busy week on the boat this past week. Took a little time off, made sure I got out a bunch of times. There
you go.
Oh man, so I went out this past Monday. I went out to a local spot, the place close to me. So a big thing I've been trying to do is really fishing because this time of year in the summer, you're going to have your fish shallow, you're going to have your fish deep. I've been trying to, instead of just moseying around and beating the bank, I've been trying to really find that deep structure and try to get onto the deeper fish. And it's been it's been very fruitful for me, the
Yeah.
last month or so.
Yep.
So I kind of went to this spot knowing that there's some stumps and humps and, all that, some wood and brush. And so, dude, I just went there and grabbed a couple nice ones out of there, grabbed like a 3-pound, I'd say right around 3-pound smallie out of this body of water that I was shocked to see it come out of. And it just had like gorgeous colors to it, like great color pattern. Because the smallies that usually come out of here, they're a little small. They're not smaller, but they're just like their patterns are just kind of bland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to see this thing come out of him, I mean, it had the awesome eye markings and everything, and I was pumped to get a picture. I grabbed it on a shaky head with a like a smaller shaky head with a robo worm finesse worm.
Yep.
Straight finesse worm. And I get the hook out, and I mean, this thing's going ape shit, like in my hand, like where I'm just like holding on for the ride as he's whipping around, and dude, he got right out of my as I was like not looking, like putting something down, he whipped out of my hand, bounced off the deck and into the water. So I didn't get so I didn't get to get a photo, unfortunately, but yeah, I caught him. I caught that was the only smallie I caught that day, and then I caught some nice, few nice largemouth. Yeah, they're chomping down there. I mean, they're healthy. They're fat. It was good. I had a good time fishing there. Went there for a few hours. First time I put my boat in there, because that boat ramp's kind of wonky. So like I had issues with I had some issues with my skeeter on occasion where the bow wanted to go under the roller, and like it was just a pain in the ass to get it up above.
Yeah.
I didn't have issues with that with the Icon, thank God, because I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a try. And but knowing like, hey Meg, you might have to run down here and like back the truck up as I'm trying to fuck with this thing. But yeah, so I went there. Tuesday, Wednesday worked. Thursday worked, and then I brought my boat to work, and I hit Congamon after work. And so I hit Congamon out by you, Bobby, or Western Mass. I hit that after work. Yeah, I went there right until dark. Didn't do great. I had like thunderstorms skirting me the whole time, to the point where like the lightning on the outside, I could start to hear my rod start to crackle a little bit. I was like, all right, we're gonna put this down for a little bit, and I'm just gonna map out for a bit, or map the place. But yeah, I mean, I got here and there, but just like not the quality I've seen people catching there. And then pulling out, I saw actually Mario from Thayer's Marine, who actually did a lot of the work on my boat. And
oh no shit!
So we got to talking for a bunch. He's from out that area. So that was like it. I found them up shallow, kind of. I just couldn't find. There were so many like humps and shit there. I just could not find them deep. I mean, there was a lot that looked like they were on bait. And like after the fact, I'm like, fuck, I should have threw a Demiki. I didn't throw a Demiki rig. I should have. Yeah. It was like kind of a hindsight was 2020 type thing. And then Friday went back out. I went to so turn and burn, got up Friday morning, went back out, went to Quabog out by me. And this is a good one. It was, I always do pretty good when I go there. I didn't catch anything crazy. That's where my PB came from this year. But I was fishing the same. So I have been, you've been to Oakhome, right, Bobby?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to Oakhome a bunch.
Yeah. So you have, so there's a brewery right there, and they actually do weddings. And they have a spot right on the water where they do the ceremony or whatever. And but right there is also a fish. There's a fish in there that him and I have been going at it all season. I have yet to hook him. It's always with a frog because of where it is. And he is just, I know it's a good fish. He has just eluded me. He's blew up my frog probably 4 times, all in the same spot. And I just have not been able to hook set him yet. And so I was like, today's the day. Like, I'm getting you, motherfucker. Yep. And so I go into that spot, dude. And as I do it, there's a wedding going on. And not only is it a wedding, it's an Indian wedding.
Oh
So,
yeah. Okay.
but here's the crazy. It was like fucking 9 a.m, dude. And they're having on a Friday, and they're having their
Dude,
wedding.
That's how the Indian weddings are. They're like 12 hours long. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I so I go there, and I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm still so, dude. They're doing their wedding, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like 40 yards away from them, just fishing.
Yeah.
And to the point where they done the ceremony. Now it's like a bunch of the pictures, which I will say there was a lot of like their outfits and stuff were like some cool fucking colors, like
Amazing.
super bright.
Yeah.
It was actually cool looking. But it got to the point where there was like a line of like 10 of them, and you could see where the photographer was actually like, "Hey, we got to shift left," because I knew it was because I was in the fucking
You're in the
background.
frame. Yeah,
And I
exactly.
wasn't like, I'm like, oh no. I was like, this fucking fish I've been trying to get is way more important than your wedding to me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but it was so the moral of the story is he didn't hit my bait once. I don't know if someone finally fucking caught him. He hasn't made his way back there, but no, so I fucked up their photos for nothing, so I kind of feel bad. But yeah, so
No, don't feel bad at all. No,
You made that memorable. In
you should
fact,
be so proud that that moment has been like set in stone in time. That's
yeah, yep.
that's the
It was
best.
funny. I think I was actually on TikTok live for it too, and I'm saying it. I'm like, there's a wedding going on. I was like, they're like moving all their pictures for me and everything, like just because I'm in the bed with my. I had like I think I had like my bright lime green Arc sun shirt on. Like
Yep.
it was just
Yeah.
like they're probably like, are you fucking kidding me right now, dude?
but it's like, I mean, and I hate to say this, is like a guy that works in the wedding industry.
Yeah,
You choose to have a lakeside
Yeah.
wedding ceremony.
Yep.
Buckle up. Like
Yeah.
that's what you get, you know?
right.
What are you gonna go out there and go like, can you guys not use this public body of water?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
no, it's like that's what you get, man, you know?
Nope. And it was funny because so I went out, I met my my wife and I met, or Meg and I met my sister and her
Yep.
her fiance out there later on that evening, and that fucking thing was still going on.
Oh,
That
yeah,
wedding
dude.
was still going
Yeah.
on.
I mean, I'm serious. So the last Indian wedding that I had worked, they
Yeah.
did a part of it in India, right?
Mhm.
With the groom's family. And that
Mhm.
was like super traditional, like crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the other part of it, they had a separate reception with no ceremony in Western Massachusetts because the bride is from Holyoke. Like she's
Sure.
from right over here.
Yeah,
And she's like, yeah, so we kind of want to have like, you know, for my family that's not going to travel to India to do this, you know.
Yep,
Some of them
yep.
did, but some of them wouldn't. And they're like, we want to have a reception so we can have everybody here. And it was a banger of a party. They're like, so we're going to try to, and I was just hearing about like the whole thing it is like 12 hours.
yeah,
And
it was fucking
constant
gnarly.
food. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
constant food. Like, and it's amazing. I love Indian food. So I'm like, bring it
mean,
on.
I like it. My intestines do not, so I don't touch it.
There is
My
an Indian-
intestines in my bathroom do not like it.
there is an Indian appetizer
Yeah.
called Chicken 65, which
Hmm.
is one of my favorite things on this earth.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's out of this world. And like it is super spicy, and sometimes that's not a good thing for folks' intestines. I get that.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's wild, man. That's a crazy day of fishing.
Yeah, so
You
that was a fun day. And then so we went out, we drank, you know, we tied one on a little bit with my sister and her fiance, and
Yep.
the next morning we slept in, you know. It's we didn't and my kids were with my dad camping all week.
Oh, dude, that's
so
yeah.
so since like I think they picked them up Wednesday, so we had no kids. So we get up and I go, "Hey babe, what do you want to do today?" She's like, I don't know, like it's nice, so I'm up for something. I was like, let's go on the boat. So
There you
so I was
go.
like, yeah. So what she was like, all right, you know, and because she like Meg's like likes going out, and Meg likes fishing. She just doesn't like doing it for like 8 hours like we do, like
Yes,
8+
exactly.
hours. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
So you know, she usually just lays on the back deck most of the time, but yeah, so it's funny. So we went to Lash, the place close to me again, mostly because I knew if I brought her to lunch at 308 right there in the water.
Yeah.
I knew that would
Brownie
help.
points.
Yeah. So, dude, so I go on there, and now that I didn't have the both times that she had been on the boat prior, I'd had Emma
Yep.
with me. So I take it easy, whatever. This
Oh, for
time,
sure.
like, I'm like, all right, Meg, I'm gonna show you like what this boat can really do. She's like, no, you're not. She's like, I don't fucking
don't
care
wanna
what
go
the boat
fast.
can do. Like, I don't care. Like, it's a fucking boat. Go slow. I'm just trying to chill. I was like, wait till you see how fast this thing turns at full speed. She was so, because those fucking icons turn on a goddamn dime, dude. It's fucking gnarly. They just eat the water, and you just do. It's like when you see like the F-22s, dude, like do that fucking turn.
Yep.
That's like what the icon does in the water without
So
like
my
slowing
question,
down.
Joe, is this: how large is the bruise on your left knee? Because I'm sure she was like, Joe.
No. So the good part, Bobby, is the fucking inside of that thing is so big that she couldn't even reach me.
She can't reach, so you're safe. Wow, dude.
He's just got scratches on the edge of his arm where she's clawing at him.
And yeah, she was so mad, but then she was like,
Oh, that's
she's like,
beautiful.
she's like, that's pretty impressive. She's like, you better not fucking do it again. I was like,
Exactly.
all right, I was like, that's fair.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I went out there, did some fit. It was more like, you know, we brought drinks and stuff. We chilled. I mean, we went out there late, so it was like in the heat of the day. So I you know, I got onto a couple. I beat the bank that day. I kind of, because there's a lot of like, there's some wreck boats going on, and I didn't feel like fucking having one of those dipshits not see me and then fucking smoke me. You know what I mean? Because they're looking back at their tube or whatever. So I mostly beat the bank, but I grabbed a couple nice ones.
Yep.
Nice smallie, a couple nice largemouth. We went and grabbed. I docked the boat. We went and had lunch at 308 there, which was awesome. And a drink. And then we wrapped it up because we had where did we have to go? We had to go. Oh, we went to go see the kids at the campground. Like they asked us to go there. Yeah. So we went there. But as I'm like, so Ryan Bogley was going to the same body of water. He called me. He's like, hey, dude. He's like, where do you think I should go between these two bodies of water? I was like, it's kind of like both of them are good, whatever. So he goes to this body of water, the same one I was on, and he fucking texts me, and he's like, dude, you're not gonna believe. So this lake has a slalom course for skiing where they have like the little buoys and like they're they're like anchored to the bottom or whatever. He's like, dude, there was a pontoon boat just full of chicks in bikinis, and whether they were like drunk, hot, whatever. They just went through the slalom course and wrapped all the buoys up in their fucking prop.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I never see. He's like, dude, I never seen anything like it. I was like, I was like, dude, they had to have been, because like the place it is like, it's like out of the way. You know what I mean? Like you got to be being an idiot if you like go out of your way to hit it. They actually put it in like a really good spot for people not to fuck with it. And yeah, dude, he's texting me about it. He's dying. And I was like, fuck. I was like, oh, that was him in his fucking bikini.
That's what it was.
Yeah. But yeah,
Alex
so
in his Borat bikini.
yeah. Oh yeah. I keep telling Megan.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Big old pack of Marlboros and a man-string bikini just out there.
Yeah. So
Oh fuck.
yeah, so yeah, dude, he was texting me that he was dying. I was like, holy fuck, dude. I was like, so I can't wait to go back there and like see if they fixed it or whatever, because it's like, you know, it's later in the season, so they'll probably just be like, whatever. But it probably absolutely destroyed their fucking lower end. You know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he told me he's like,
that they fucked up his boat.
Yeah, either dad or hubby. You know what I mean? And
no,
True.
that's Sugar Daddy's boat. It's a pontoon.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he said, he's like, you could tell they like did not know a goddamn thing about a boat. So my guess is like they're like, oh god, we're stuck, and then just throttled it out and just like fucked up all kinds of shit. In that lower
thinking they
end.
can power themselves out of whatever. Yeah,
Yep.
That's rookie mistake.
Yep,
Been there.
Yep. So yeah. So after that, you know, we went to the campground with the kids, you know, and had a good time there. And today, I really had no plan to go out because I was actually going to do like some adulting stuff around the yard that I've been like really putting off. And then it rained all day, so I didn't even get to do that. So
good old Saint Nick chimes in. He goes, destroyed that lower end worse than Joe's Indian food.
Oh, that'd probably be a close one, dude. That'd be a close one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
hot boy summer.
It is hot boy
Nice.
summer.
So yeah,
Dude.
that's my fishy week, man. Let's hear about yours.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. My fishy week was kind of interesting. So I had some plans. I kind of wanted to take the kayak out, to be perfectly honest. Like I just had the bug to take the kayak out. So I had gone out, did all my editing and stuff on Tuesday or on Monday rather. And Tuesday I had plans to take out the yak. And I haven't been by that local pond that I hit regularly, the one that's closest to where I'm based, in forever. And I launched the boat there once. That was the last time I was there, and it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? It's too small. Loading the boat back up sucks because of where the position is. There's one big point and everything. It's not ideal. So I launched the yak, and conditions were looking pretty rough. It was pretty calm out when I was there, bright sunny skies with minimal wind. But I'm like, we'll have some fun. And I made a mistake. I forgot my net because I don't have like a full set of gear for the boat and a full set of gear for my kayak. Like I'm figuring out what needs to be what, like, and it was just a stupid oversight on my end. I forgot the net. So I was like, all right, any fish that I catch, like managing them and measuring them is going to be more of a pain in the ass without the net as a place to just put them while I situate and get ready for, taking photos and stuff. So I said, fuck it. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Wouldn't you know, I hooked into like a 12 or 13 inch yellow perch, massive, right on, I think it was a finesse swim bait, actually, a little 3-inch plastic. I ordered a bunch of 2 and 3-inch plastics from Omnia just to try out some new stuff. And, so I caught a decent one, and some other folks, lots of folks bank fishing while I was out there. Talked to a couple of people. Excuse me, I'm hacking up a lung over here. But talked to a couple of people, and what I was asking them how it was going. They're like, yeah, it's been brutal, absolutely brutal. Not a single bite. This one guy had caught a small bass on this point that they were fishing, and that was it. I go on and I fish a bunch, and I am on my way back toward the ramp, and I hit up this line of trees that have overhanging branches over the water, and I'm flipping a jig up in there. And I caught a nice size, like a 16-inch largemouth. And I was right across from this group of people that was fishing, and I'm standing up on the kayak, and I'm like, so this gives me a little bit of hope. I'm like, they're in here, and they're like, shit. They're like, well, we're gonna keep at it. I don't know how they made out, but they made out. Then what do we do? Wednesday, I took the Lund up to the Berkshires and tried to check off some boxes for the scavenger hunt. I went over to this one spot with all of my stuff, made sure I had all the tools needed, went out there, identifier on hand, ready to go, everything all prepared. And I managed to hook into 4 different species up there that I needed.
Nice.
Yeah. A 10-inch rock bass. And I caught probably like a dozen rock bass all day. The biggest, the first one was the biggest one. The rest of them were just, I catch them and just let them go immediately, to the point where they're almost a nuisance. And I caught that on a white bladed jig, which I ultimately lost later the weekend. One of those $15 dare breaks from Jackal. Yeah. So I lost that. I decided, I was like, I still, for the scavenger hunt, I still need a bluegill. I still need some kind of a sunfish. So I downsized a little bit, and I'm out of 2-inch easy shiners. I can't find them in the color that I'm looking for. So I happen to have a box. Joe, you remember Art, Fish Daddy 401, right? We've had him on the
Yes, I do.
A couple of times now.
Yep.
Well, a while ago, Art had sent me a box. He does these plastics like samplers. It's like a 3,600 size box with a variety of different plastics in there, different swim baits and worms and grubs and all kinds of stuff, craws. And in there, he's got these 2-inch swim baits. And I'll be damned, dude. They are a great substitute. So I'm actually going to put in a custom order with Art to just get a box of just these swim baits in a variety of specific colors. So I've got just a bulk amount of them, because the tails are so fragile and delicate that like bluegill will just tear them right off. And you know, if they're really dialed with that action, you got to replace them. You know what I mean? So I had a good experience that day. I ended up hooking into a black crappie, which was totally unexpected. Knowing that they were there, I figured I was going to hook into a bluegill. Didn't catch a bluegill at all. I then hooked into a yellow perch. Finally, one that hit the 8-inch mark. 8 inches on the nose, and then I hooked into a 19-inch chain pickerel. Switching to a big Joshy and fishing like a 20-foot hole. the hole angler, I guess you could call me. So I was, and this was a situation where I had upsized the jig head a little bit. I was casting out far, letting it drop all the way down, then just kind of like hopping it along the bottom, letting it hit the bottom again. Hooked into this pickerel, and I was like, 4 is great. I'm going to take it. So I left that day. Tuesday, I'm feeling great. Everything is going wonderful. Wednesday, no, I'm sorry. That was Wednesday. Wednesday night, that's when this cold started to like kick in. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Thursday and Friday, I didn't get out at all. But Saturday, I wanted to go back. Now, last week, I talked about fishing a body of water that a local had tipped me off on that I never knew about, this reservoir where there's lots of rocks and lots of like submerged timber and root balls, all kinds of cover that I love. Like, I know that fish will hold tight to this. And I especially thought, instead of losing a bunch of jigs, if the conditions were right and they were chasing, this could be an amazing body of water to throw a variety of different moving baits. And so my buddy Paul and I made plans to go and fish. I was like, what are you doing Saturday? Now, I had an interview with one of my wedding clients in the afternoon. So I was like, I don't have a full day. We could do it like 5 or 6 hours. So we got there at like just before 6 a.m. I wanted to get there for sunrise. We had clouds overhead and we had a little wind. When we got on the water, the wind was a little bit more significant than I had anticipated. But I'm like, I still want to start with some top water. We'll see what we go with. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So I'm going to dive into this a little bit in depth because there is no YouTube video for the behind the scenes or anything for this trip. There is for the scavenger hunt on Wednesday. Which, by the way, I should mention, on Wednesday, I fixed the drone. We got drone shots back. Your boy is an idiot. He was skipping an entire step and trying to link with the remote to get things to work and function the right way. So I shot a bunch of footage overhead, and everything looks great. And I'm actually going to take a day and get a whole bunch of footage and try out some different features where it can just kind of track me. And you know, I got some really good B-roll on that Wednesday trip. It was really, really good. So I was gonna, you know, put a video together and stuff, but I'm like, it was too windy. I didn't want to fuck with the drone. It was that windy. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead. We'll send it. So I'm thinking with all these conditions, it's telling me bone colored walking bait, right? Yeah. Clouds. We got some wind, a little chop on the water. So I'm throwing parallel to this rock bank here. And there's a drop off, a significant drop off, probably about like 15 to 20 feet off of the bank. And it just drops and it goes deep. And there's all these like root balls and submerged wood down there. So I'm throwing this around here, and Paul says to me, he's like, I'm throwing top water. I'm like, well, of course, it's sunrise, man. I'm like, this is if it's gonna happen, this is when the likelihood is highest it's gonna happen, you know? Yeah. And I forget what he started throwing initially. He then puts on a top water as well. In fact, it was the prop bait that came in the top water box in the Dark Horse Tackle top water box in, what was it, last month or the month previous? This was one of these situations where like he had lost a whopper plopper. And I was like, bro, I'm like, you want to throw a plopper? Yes, exactly. That's the one. Yeah. Different color, but that's the bait. Yeah. So he goes and he says, this time he loses a plopper. I was like, hey man, I go, grab my top water rod. I was like, there's a prop bait on there that you got to try. And he's like, well, do you mind if I cut it off and I just put it on my setup? I was like, go for it. And I was like, in fact, keep it on there because I think it's going to pay off. Holy fuck, it paid off on Saturday. So he is like probably 4 casts in right now, and he gets blown up on with the biggest smallmouth of the day. First fish. I tell him, dude, every single decent fish that we catch today, We are popping these in the box because I want to take that cheesy photo with you that we never got. That was like, we didn't get impressive fish when we fished in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we fished Chickamauga, it was like we caught bass. You know what I mean? But we didn't get that really like 4 or 5 fish holding them up like picture. I was like, we're fishing one area of this lake. I'm like, we're gonna release them all right in the same spot, later. But I'm like, it's not hot. We got cloud cover, and I'm running the aerator all day. I'm like, we'll box them. We'll go ahead and we'll set this up. First one I'm feeling really good. I was like, okay, so top water it is. Let's go ahead and do it. I don't get a bite. I'm like, maybe I cut off the Zara spook and I put on the spook from that top water box from Dark Horse.
The Cornerstone one, yeah.
Cornerstone one, yes, because it's loud. It's really loud. So I'm like, okay, maybe this sucker will maybe get some attention. Well, that doesn't work either. So I'm like, all right, Paul, just keep on it. Let's see if that's a pattern. That's one fish you caught on that bait. Let's see if it's a pattern. He gets maybe 3 more casts and then starts throwing a chatterbait. I'm like, okay, so we don't know if it's a pattern. We're gonna go ahead and again, I'm sticking with the spook. Yeah. He gets bit on a white and chartreuse chatterbait, right? Puts the second fish in the boat. I'm like, holy shit, not as big as the first, but puts the second one in. I'm like, awesome, great. I was like, maybe it's a bladed jig thing. I go, so now I'm going to shift gears. We'll see what we can come up with. Now I'm throwing more of like a perch color, a lot of green pumpkin, some chartreuse, with what was I throwing as a trailer? It was a freeloader, green pumpkin, black and blue on the freeloader.
Oh yeah, blue, I like that color.
Freeloader. That one and Sungill are like my favorite too, but there's a bunch of others that are great. So I'm not getting bit. And I'm like, what? Again, this is Paul. I go, what's the speed reel you're using on that? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, because I'm thinking at this point, it's got to be cadence, because I even cut my bladed jig off and replaced it with a white a chatterbait elite that I had with a white trailer and some chartreuse. And I'm like, maybe this will do it. I was like, because I'm using a much slower combo. I'm using a 6-speed, and I thought he was using an 8-speed reel, and turns out he was using, when we looked at it, it was like a 7.5. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, this is the one that you suggested I use for my frog rod. And I was like, why isn't it on your frog rod? I'm like,
starting with 65-pound braid.
Yeah. And so I don't know what he's got on there. So it's a little crazy. He's fishing. He gets he cuts off the chatterbait, ties on a white spinnerbait. Okay, again, like we don't know that this is a pattern yet, So he ties on a spinnerbait, and I'm like, all right, we'll see. He gets a couple of bites. He didn't get another fish in the boat, but he was getting bit. I was not getting bit. I couldn't believe this. We fast forward a couple hours down the way, and we fish the rest of this bank. We get into this little cove where it comes up to this little shallow flat, but a nice drop off in between the sides. It drops off really nice. And I'm getting bit now, and there's some pretty good rocks that are down there. We didn't have like the root balls or the wood that was down there, but still had a lot of rocks. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw a jig around here. We'll see if it comes up. So I'm throwing this around, and actually, let me take that back. It wasn't even the jig. I had switched over to my BFS combo and started throwing around a finesse swim bait. Small Kitech on a Jigmaster's perfected ball head jig. 1/8 ounce, so I could get it down there reasonably fast. This wasn't super deep water, but it was still about like 15 feet or so. I'm flipping up shallow and I'm dragging it down there, and then I go deep with it, and I let it just hit the bottom, and I'm just dragging along the bottom, hopping along. I feel like a rock. I'm moving over that, and then it gets hammered, dude. It gets fucking hammered so hard. BFS 10-pound braid to 4-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, bro, hand me that net. Because after Paul's last netman situation, I'm like, hand me the net, please.
Yeah.
So I managed to catch a 14-inch channel catfish on the bottom. Which was which is interesting because I talked with Brad Hicks about that, because he's known for catching catfish as bycatch on artificial lures all the time.
Trash fish king.
I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? I like one a year, maybe. Like the last time I caught was like a bullhead on like Ned rig. up by some pads randomly, some isolated pads I just casted to the side of. But no, this one I was like, holy shit. I'm like, well, dude, I'm like, I got my identifier. I'm like, that's a point. I will take it. So entered that fish in.
Hell yeah.
We fished for about another 2 hours, and he's like, you know, man, he's like, we haven't had a bite in a while. He's like, let's go and grab some food. I was like, all right, sounds like a plan, dude. Let's do that. So we go and we launch. We see some fuckery at the ramp. This dude bringing some like giant center console. And like, here's the thing. I don't know if this is all Army Corps of Engineers ramps, but this one here is like the other Army Corps of Engineer ramp that I've got experience with, where it's a long ramp down, but off to the side, there's like a little, it looks almost like a bong if you were in an airplane looking down, where it just, hang on, I can show you better like this. So like it's got this little parking spot right. I know. Don't fucking at me. I have to clean my bong. I haven't used it in forever. It's fucking disgusting. But anyway, it's like, so, you know, I pull straight down. I turn into that section, then I back down. It's a nice smooth motion. I see people backing down the entire length of this ramp, and it's fucking hilarious. So there's a guy coming down with like some kind of like a Ford Edge with like a 19-foot fucking fiberglass center console. And this thing is just like it's ridiculous. It's just fuckery, and there's no other way to describe it. So we go and we get off the water, and I'm like, this is cool. So I got this fish here, and I had plans to go out today with Joe and Bobby Mazzaferro, right? The Bearded Angler and Maz Family Fishing on Instagram, respectively. Bobby just turned 13, and one of the things he wanted to do was go fishing on a boat. And so this is kind of nuts. First off, Joe is awesome. I love fishing with Joe. Joe's got a great kid. Bobby's awesome. Great kid. So I'm looking at the weather today, and I see that we've got a lot of clouds. We've got some rain that's going to come in, but it's actually supposed to let up. And this is like, I got the worst night's sleep last night. I got home from fishing with Paul, and it was like 1 o'clock. I had a sandwich, and then I took a nap for like 4 hours. I got up and I interviewed Brad. And then I, had dinner with the family and hung out. I made sure to take like some extra, sleepy time medicine. And I was up until I saw 2:15. My alarm went off at 4:30. So I got maybe 2 hours of sleep, if that. Like, it was ridiculous how late it was.
Oh,
yeah. So I woke up this morning. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get everything together. We'll go ahead. We'll send it. I get to the water, and there was there's one thing that I left out on Wednesday. I think I'm going to throw it in an FTG though. I think it's a better fit there. So I go on and I'm doing my thing, and I get to the launch, and I load the boat. They roll up. First words out of Bobby's mouth. So is this going to tip over? No, Bobby, it's going to be all right. It's not going to tip over. Don't worry, Bob. It's going to be good. He's like, all right, cool. He gets in, and it boats move. Like when they're on water, like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to rock a little bit, something like that. He's like, oh my God, I don't like boats. And immediately I look at Joe and I'm like,
the fuck are you doing to this poor kid, man?
Joe's been on this boat with me. He knows that this 16-foot aluminum boat is very stable, but like it moves, like any boat. I mean, Joe, you get on your boat from a dock and you feel it, right? It moves under your feet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, any boat's, unless it's a fucking cruise ship, dude. Any boat's
that's exactly it. Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Any boat, you're gonna feel that move. So I'm like, okay, no sweat. I'm like, we'll see how this goes. So they get situated, we get loaded up, everything's cool. And Joe was like, in 10 minutes, he's gonna be fine. He couldn't have been more right. Like, I was like, so here's what we're gonna do, Bobby. I go, we're just gonna take a ride to start out. And we're going to look for some fishy shit. And I'm looking at the map because, again, I still don't have electronics. I'm only using a topo map. And I'm looking for edges. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't fished this one point right here. So we get up to this one spot. I'm like, this looks juicy. Again, I'm like taking advantage of that first light kind of shit. I'm like, let's throw some top water. I get a strike, like second cast. I'm like, okay, found fish. Fish. Let's keep at it, right? So I get us closer in that area, and I'm like, we know that there's fish in here. There's weeds. There's overhanging trees. and there's this nice ledge. I'm like, we have there's a little bit of a recipe here. This could pay off. So we're all kind of like casting in this one area, working together, and it works so smooth. Even that little boat, 3 anglers on there, all throwing lures. You know, myself throwing a spook with 3 trebles. Nobody got any hooks anywhere. Like, it was excellent. It was fantastic. I'm not getting bit on top water again, so I'm like, you know what? I got a little job to do with some BFS for this multi-species stuff. So I decide to start throwing a finesse swim bait that I had good luck with earlier.
Yeah.
And I start throwing this around. Second cast, I hook into the first fish. I was like, beautiful. It was a
Okay.
largemouth. I don't need a largemouth for the tournament. And this wasn't going to beat that largemouth. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead. Well, same thing. I was like, let's get a picture of Bobby with a bunch of fish and like all of us like together. It'll be great. And so we put it in the box. And I think that might be the kiss of death, because once that happened, like, Bobby had a couple of bites that were missed. I got a couple of bites where one of them just shook. It was right at the boat and then shook right off. In fact, I don't even think it was a bass. I think it might have been a white perch, which I could have used. And so that one hurt a little bit. The problem was that the rain kicked up significantly, and the temp, it was only like 62, 64. I think it was like 64 when we got off the water. The problem is nobody had any rain gear. We weren't ready for this, you know? So we're getting dumped on, and now like there's a little bit of wind and it's freezing. I'm like, fucking like, do you guys need anything engraved? Because my nipples could cut glass. You know? It's just the way it is. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I said, and I knew Bobby was disappointed. I was like, listen, I'm going to take a look at the radar and see what we're dealing with. This storm was kind of moving through Connecticut our direction, and there was a big pocket of rain that was going to come over, and it looked like now we were going to get rain most of the day. And I'm like, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a break here, so let's tough it out now, and then if this next pocket comes along, we'll call it. And he was disappointed, but I was like, and we'll reschedule. Don't worry. And I'm like, and maybe we won't do this body of water because we went to Congamond. I was like, maybe we'll do the Cape next time, or maybe we'll do the Berkshires or something. Like, once I said Cape Cod, he was like, oh, really? Okay. So, and yeah, the rain is still coming. And Michael asked, he's like, oh, no Bimini on the Lund. I took the Bimini off. It's in my backyard. There is only one person that loves the Bimini, and that is Becca. Fishing with 2 people and the Bimini top sucks. Fishing with one person in the Bimini is ideal, especially like with a dog or something, or a wife that's not looking to fish. Fishing with 3 anglers, no way. It'd be awful. Awful. There's too much stuff impeding your ability to cast, and it would just be bad news. So no Bimini. No Bimini whatsoever. So we fished South Pond, and then when the rain really started to pick up again, we took off. Initially, I was like, we get out of the water. I'm like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna go grab breakfast or something. You want to come along? And I was like, I don't know. I might just head home and go back to bed. Because again, like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep. I'm like, this might have been nice. Yeah. And we decided we got back to the water. The rain had held off to about like 10 or so. And we loaded up the boat and headed out to grab some breakfast at a local spot, Partners. We talked about Partners on the show before. A fantastic breakfast. We had a good time. Great conversation. Like, I love hanging out with the Maz boys. They're great. We're going to go out and fish again. We did release that fish on our way back to the launch. And we have more to work on. But man, it was a great time. If the rain had let up, and like it's still dumping out here now.
Yep.
Not supposed to be. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it wasn't supposed to, which pisses me off. It was supposed to be like,
off and on, right?
Yeah.
Like on earlier, then off for like a good chunk of the day, and then later tonight it was supposed to kind of get started. But
so is that? I was gonna say, is that a normal late summer for you guys? Is the rain kind of comes and goes, or because I always think California has the screwiest weather ever. So that's why I was like, oh.
So the thing is with summer in the Northeast is it's rain. You get rain at least once or twice a week minimum, at least. Lots of thunderstorms. It's not weird to get these pop-up storms. It's worse in the higher elevation, like in the Berkshires. You get them, they'll just pop up out of nowhere.
Yep.
Got it.
So it can be a little bit dicey, but like, you know, I have to make that. That's one thing I need to put as a an investment is some rain gear to keep on the boat. You know, just it would be a good idea. At least like a good jacket. Like I have this jacket from Afco. It's a Reaper jacket. And it's great for light rain. It's not great for heavy rain. Eventually it's going to penetrate through. It's got waterproof zippers and stuff like that, you know, and all that stuff. And for a light rain, it's not too bad. But if it's anything kind of heavy, like that's what I need to invest in is stuff for like heavy rain.
Well, also you got the Lund now, so even if it is a heavy rain, you can throw that thing on and
be
book
good
it back and be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I do have a question because you said it and like it really sparked something in my brain. I don't know. Are you guys still as excited to go fishing anytime you get to go fishing as I am? Because I mean, when you say lack of sleep, bro, I will literally be setting up and rigging the night before and still contemplating. Like I go to lay down and I'm like, I can't even sleep because I'm going to go out for the next 5 hours. It's going to be great, you know. And I get 2 hours of sleep and I'm out in the water like just struggling for the first couple, you know.
It never gets old. It never gets old. Yeah. It's I still like because that's the thing. I 100% could have sent a text at 4:30 in the morning and been like, nope, not happening, guys. But I was there because I was still just as stoked to get on the water and you know, I wanted to have Bobby get this experience, you know, as much as he wanted to have the experience on the boat. But I'll tell you what, dude, when they rolled in and he stepped on the boat, and he was like, I don't like boats. I was like, Joe, what the fuck? I'm like, what are we gonna do, dude? But
he'll figure it out.
Joe couldn't have been more right. He's like, give him 10 minutes, watch, and he was fine. Like, it's weird. Like okay, so like my dad at his age, right? He's got bad knees, bad joints, so like he likes to stay in the lower section of the boat anyway. He's not running up to like the top, you know, the casting deck on either the front or rear of the boat. Now I don't even think about it. Like I just jump right down and I'm like, okay, cool. I go up to the back, especially having the remote for the trolling motor. Like I'll fish from the back deck and reposition the boat from the back. So it's nice, you know. When I'm fishing by myself, that's how it is. You know, a lot of folks, but like Paul's been on with me now like 3 or 4 times, and he still will not get out of that lower section. Although I take that back, he made a huge step forward. He took a leak off the side of the boat, and you have to do that from the casting deck.
Yep.
100%. Or you've got to be John fucking Holmes. Like one or the other. That's your fucking choice in life. You know? And he so you know, he was up on the casting deck. There was a part of me I was just like, do I hit the trolling motor on 10? I'm like, no. Like I want to make sure the guy gets in the boat.
That'd be fucked up.
But he did catch a bunch of fucking fish. So he was like, the fact that he did that, I was like, I'm telling you, dude, it's not like you really do. Like when people say, like, don't worry, you'll get your sea legs. You definitely do. It just takes a while for some folks. You know? Yeah. And I think with Bobby, he's going to be running back and forth between both casting decks in no time at all.
Yeah.
You know, no time
whatsoever. Fly like a spider monkey just up and down that boat. That's gonna be awesome.
You know, it's awesome. It is. It's freaking awesome. I love it. It's a good setup. So, yeah, it was a good week as far as fishy shit for me. I love. The reason why I don't think I'm going to be in the kayak for the rest of the year is this.
Yes.
As your boy was coming back with the kayak on Tuesday. So in my backyard, I did a short on YouTube kind of showing like all the toys in the backyard, like how freaking ridiculous it is back there. It's like I moved in, it's become my rompus room. So I go and I have my old trailer and the Ascend off in one corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have my utility trailer with my kayak on it right next to it, and I back that right in place. And at the back end of my yard, I have this incline that goes up to the neighbor's yard because their backyard is a hill that goes right down.
Mm-hmm.
And I backed a little bit too far up, and the rudder got caught on the land and it bent the rudder. Now, I've bent this rudder before and I've bent it back. I'm going to take it off and redo it and do it all over again and everything and try and fix it. If not, I'm just going to order the new Boondocks replacement and have a nice straight rudder and be good to go. But yeah, it was really nice to take the kayak out. It's nice to have those options. I actually had to move the boat this week over to Paul's house because he's got enough land for me to be able to leave it there, because this week we are doing our end of summer clean out in the house, just a big purge of all kinds of stuff. And we're getting a dumpster for like 2 weeks in our driveway, which meant I would have been sidelined for 2 weeks easily. Or I'd have to park the boat in the street, and like in the city of Holyoke, I don't want to fucking do that because there are plenty of people who fucking do that. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's only so much parking anyway on here. I don't want to leave my boat and everything sitting right there. That's crazy town. So yeah, I got this over on Paul's land. It's all good. Tim Behan says my rudder's bent. Yeah, mine now is like an S. It's like an S. It had a little bit of a curve one. And this sounds terrible. If you're
a pleasure curve.
No context, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure curve. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I call it the jolly slope. You know, it is what it is.
Hell yeah.
Tim, I got money coming your way too, by the way. That's coming this week because there was only 2 winners in last week's scavenger hunt or last month's scavenger hunt. So I'm going to fix that all up and get things all set. And man, it's just been wild. It's just been absolutely nuts. But let's shift gears because there was some breaking news that happened this week. And I sent it over to Joe for the headlines, and I think this is amazing. Are you ready, Joe?
Yeah, let's do it. So while Bobby was talking, I was actually looking for a little bit more information on this, but there actually isn't a ton out there. I have 2 stories for you guys. First one, both of them are kind of like no bueno. So first one comes locally to Bobby and I here in Massachusetts, specifically Western Massachusetts. And this story actually comes from Bobby's alma mater.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, from 22 News out here in Springfield, Hampshire County. So, fishermen discover body in Lower Mill Pond in East Hampton. So East Hampton, Western Mass. A body was found in the Lower Mill Pond in East Hampton on Friday. According to the Northwestern District Attorney's Office, First Assistant District Attorney Stephen Gagney at around... And then they actually didn't put a time. So that's totally 22 News worthy. They've said at around, they forgot the number and put PM. So sometime in the evening on Friday, a man and his son fishing discovered a body and called the police. The victim is believed to be 22-year-old Rodney Yankson of East Hampton, who has been missing since August 13th. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner is working to determine the cause of death, and the official identification will be made. The investigation is being conducted by the East Hampton Police Department and the State Police Detective Unit attached to the Northwestern District Attorney's Office. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. So, imagine being out fishing and finding that'll ruin your fucking day real quick.
Oh yeah.
You hear these stories.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Discovers body and such. And I swear that is one thing I 100% hope never shows up on my radar, like ever, because I don't even know how I could process. Like, and I've seen some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had to working in news. TMI, big fucking share. Working in news, there was a guy that I worked with that was a news photographer at that station who we had a jumper off of a building locally. And this guy recorded the actual, before they cleaned up the situation, human pancake buddy.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. And like, yeah, like he's gotten into trouble and shit. Actually, Sean the Fisherman knows this guy. They're good friends. And the dude's great, but like he just pushes it sometimes. Like there was some kind of like, there was a decapitated head with in a train accident that, and he like recorded B-roll of it and like got into some shit for that, you know? It's like, I get it. Like you can edit this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Come on. But
yeah,
he got into some shit for that. Oh, yeah, John Higgins chimes in. Goes, it's one of my biggest views, especially since I hit a lot of remote places and rivers. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens, especially out by you, Bobby. That shit happens a lot on the Connecticut River.
Yeah, it
like
does.
more than we hear about. Like
Yep.
you'll hear quick tidbits about it, but Jesus, they probably get half a dozen bodies out of the Connecticut River each year.
When you see like a lot of these stories of people gone missing, and that's where they'll find them. They just show up and like something happened, you know, and it's like, who knows?
Yeah, we get it every holiday, dude. I live right next to the American River, and every holiday there's, you know, a bunch of raft rentals and stuff. Everybody floats down the river, you know, especially 4th of July and stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
They're just dredging for the next week, dude. And they just collect.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing. You know what I'm saying?
It is. It's shitty. And like on the Connecticut River, there's a couple bridges that are known, unfortunately known as, you know, suicide bridges where people are hopping off. So, you know, they get that quite a bit, even no matter the fencing or barricades they put up around those things. So, yeah.
The Forest Hill Bridge is down the way. The one in Fast and Furious where Vin Diesel drove a car off a bridge. That's the bridge down the way.
Oh shit!
And it's massive. Oh, it's massive. And they put a giant net under it, like 20 feet under it. They have this giant net sticking out.
Yeah.
Like, still, it's just every time you go over that bridge.
I can't think of the name. That's what it is. The Sagamore Bridge. The Sagamore Bridge going into Cape Cod, right? So much traffic.
Yeah. Yep.
You've seen the fences they have them. They're like 10, 15 feet high.
Yeah.
They're crazy high because they're like, and there's signage. They're like, if you are struggling, call this number.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and honestly, I don't think like some of those bridges that are in Western Mass along the Connecticut, I don't think they'd get the job done. I mean, this is probably fucking too much. I don't know that they're fucking high enough. Like they say that if you fall into water going fast enough, that water is like the same effect as landing in concrete. But I don't know how high they need to be for that to be the situation. And it's like, it's only like 5 feet of water. So if you do, you know, hit that water, you're basically going to knock yourself out and drown. Like, God.
Yeah. So on a lighter note, if I ever found a body in the river, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably grab some rope and rocks and pretend I never saw it. I have no idea. Like it's beyond me to figure
I'm just going to keep paddling and hopefully the next guy calls somebody because I don't want to be involved.
Yeah. Pull a full
I can't imagine that. See, I never would expect this from St. Nick. He says, I could show you some places to avoid. You know, I mean, Canada's got so few people that I would think that like finding bodies probably wouldn't be that common up there.
Yeah.
But we just got people to spare. We're fucking throwing them off everything. And then John Hagen says, I always fear the smell of death while I'm out. As much as I don't want to, I always investigate because it could be someone's loved one, usually a dead raccoon or just recently a coyote. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough position to be in.
It's unfortunate, you know. It's something.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm downriver from Detroit. Oh shit!
Say less, fam. Say less.
Oh, the dirty D.
News.
It's crazy. There's actually a lot of fucking there's a lot of YouTubers out there, fishing YouTubers that this has happened to.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's quite a few out there. I kind of like stumbled, you know, I went down the YouTube wormhole one day and that's kind of, you know, what it ended up coming down as. But yeah, it's, you know, it's just one of those things, you know. I mean, I have a friend who was hunting and came across a body in the woods, you know.
Really?
Back. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yep. It was a suicide, and you know, came across that, and it just, I mean, actually in the woods, I fucked with my older kids. I won't say this to Emma yet. She's too young, but like the 10-year-olds, because they're like in this weird, like, oh, we want to do ghost hunting. That sounds really cool. So like back in the day, like in the 80s, so across the street, they actually built a house across the street from me recently. And before that, there was like a dilapidated, like single wide that was back off in the woods. You couldn't really see it unless you knew it was there. And apparently it was there since there was a gentleman who like walked out in the backwoods across the street from my house and hung himself. You know, so I always tell the kids, I told them that story, and they're like, wait, really? That actually happened? I was like, yeah, like, you know, because my mom told, like, when I bought this house, my mom told me the story. She's like, you know, because it was like in the 80s this happened, like early 80s. So I was just like baby, you know. But yeah, so I told them that. They're like, no, we're not gonna go over there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude,
So,
I can't even imagine that.
yeah. Yep.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time Becca and I attempted to camp at a Cracker Barrel locally?
I don't think so.
So this was like goes back a couple of years. In fact, Joe, you know what it was? It was when you first jumped on the show. It was at that sportsman show that Becca had come to, and she was when originally we were going to camp at the Big E, but we couldn't get heads or tails of like if we were able to actually camp and go back and forward or anything like that. So she's like, you know what, let's go and grab dinner and we'll just go to like Cracker Barrel and we'll just camp there. And it was like 7 degrees that night. It was ridiculous. And I was like, long story short, I ended up bailing because I was like, I'm not going to camp in the city where I live. You know, in this cold, I have a summer sleeping bag, Becca. She's like, no, you're going to die. Like, don't do that. She's like, that'll be really bad for you. She goes, you go home and sleep. Well, anyway, we're in Cracker Barrel, and she's like, I find it's always best. You can camp here, like it's common knowledge, but she's like, anytime I do, I always want to talk to like the manager or something, make sure it's okay. Well, this is weird. So our server comes over, and she's like, yeah, she's like, I'm just curious, is the manager around? I just want to talk about camping and stuff and verify everything. She's like, you guys can camp here. That's no problem. She goes, however, stay away from this side of the parking lot. And she's like, oh, really? Okay, no problem. We'll go on the opposite end. And she goes, why? Why is that? She goes, because there's a camper that's been there for a little over a week. And nobody has come in or out of it that we've seen. And it's just been sitting there. There's no vehicle. Like it was full on set up, like awning out, like windows drawn, shocks and everything. Like it was set up. And she's like, yeah, we don't know what's going on.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Breaking Bad out of there, Cracker Barrel, literally Cracker Barrel.
Becca and I are walking out to the parking lot, and I was like,
we're 100% going to go investigate that camper, right?
And she's like, oh, fuck yeah, we are. And I was like,
do you think there's a dead body in there? I'll bet you there's a dead body in there.
And she's like, let's not fucking go near that if that's the situation. And that could be what happened. Like somebody set up camp died. And then, like, you know, whoever, like, who knows?
You think they would have like had the cops look at it, you know, earlier than a
that's what she told me. She's like, Monday they're gonna come by and investigate it, check it out, and see about towing it away.
Gonna put it on their schedule.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm like, oh, you're gonna leave it for the Monday morning crowd? Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, which is fucked up because those are like the old grumpy guys that finally are on day shift and don't want to do shit.
They don't want to do a goddamn thing, but here we are. Here we are.
Pencil this in for Monday.
Yeah. So I got one more story for you guys.
Yeah, fire away.
And I guarantee you, I know Bobby. I mentioned this. I'm sure Dave is tracking on this. Let's talk Wes Logan's crash on Lake Champlain.
Oh yeah. So this is fucking nuts.
So I took this. This is actually from. I'm not even going to say the site because I know they're not going to come at us. It's actually all right. I'm going to tell you, GhanaCelebrities.com. They actually had the best editorial story about it because everything else is just video. So Wes Logan, an Elite Series boater or an Elite Series pro from Springville, Alabama, has spoken up about how lucky he is to be alive following a scary accident on Lake Champlain. Logan was competing for the Arc Fishing International on day 2 of the Champlain Elite when he got into some trouble. He reportedly hit a submerged obstruction that detached his motor from his boat and resulted in a spin-out. This led him hitting his head and almost getting thrown out of his boat. His wife, Riley Logan, revealed the stunning news on social media following the initial collision. So before I get into the rest of this, being a bass boater, being as I drive that thing like I shouldn't at times and on lakes like this, it's just especially on a big body of water like that. Yeah. It's just the risk you take. Luckily for him, he actually had something called a So they call it it's a leash for your motor to basically keep it on a transom even when it disconnects. And they think that's kind of what saved it. They think that's kind of what like saved it. And obviously he was also wearing his kill switch, which is huge as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, this thing, they say it was basically, because there were storms up there up north when we dealt with them, and they believe it was a submerged dock or a floating dock that detached, but it must have been taking on a little bit of water, so it actually was under the water a little bit, so you couldn't see it. And he was driving the boat I used to have in that chop, so he was probably doing a good 70 miles an hour, 65 to 70 when he hit that thing. Excuse me. So he ended up hitting his head, hitting his chin. He got like 30 plus stitches.
Sheesh, dude.
But here's what's badass about it, and it might be in the rest. I won't even read the rest. There's not much left. But so here's what's badass about it. The dude gets towed back, right? Goes to the hospital, okay? Gets stitched up, comes back, gets another boat, like a bass cat was loaned to him, and goes and finishes up for the day. It still ends with like 15 pounds or something like that.
Yeah,
like they transferred his fish over to the other boat and everything. Yeah, so he went and he finished the tournament after getting stitched up. But I will finish this. So, according to his wife, Wes was in a bad boating accident and suffered a head injury and lacerations. She added that he had been taken to a local hospital in an ambulance after initially being stranded out in the water for over an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, it took them an hour to get to him. Luckily, he had his phone and everything. And he had service. That's what's key. Because he did not have a cameraman. I mean, it's actually probably a very good thing he didn't have a cameraman with him, because if that cameraman with that velocity, he most likely would have went up and over. So Wes hit a bad wave, maybe even something in the water that was unable to be seen. This is his wife speaking. While driving on Lake Champlain. The impact was so great that his motor detached from his boat, which resulted in a spin out. During this 360-degree turn, he hit his head and was almost thrown out of the boat. He luckily stayed conscious enough to call me to alert for help. So he called his wife, so to be like, because she must have been there at the launch or whatever. Most amazingly of all, after receiving the medical help he needed, including 14 stitches, Wes was cleared and he got back out there to rejoin the competition. Speaking after the accident, he emphasized how lucky he is to be alive and said he feels extremely blessed. Wes called on everyone to enjoy every waking moment because it literally could be your last. And he actually got pretty emotional up on the stage there with
Do you blame him?
Yeah, no, dude. So it's my scariest moment that I had on my boat was on Lake Hartwell. I had an incident to where I was in the skeeter going way too fast for the amount of chop that there was. Just trying to get to another spot, and I had the jack plate and the trim way too high. I should have had it in. I should have had the prop in the water more than it was, and I hit a chop. And as I did that, wind started to catch underneath. And so that boat just kind of started to turn into an airplane, and luckily I lost the lift and came down, and let me tell you, I kept it cool the rest of that day. It scared the absolute shit out of me.
Jumps right on the trolling motor. There's fish right here, I swear.
Motor
around the rest of the lake.
No, this will be fine. This will be fine. But yeah, so I think it was the last day of the tournament, and I was like, I had a good box going, and I was just like trying to get a couple more spots to try to get into the money. But
how fast were you going?
That time I was doing I think I was doing like 67, 68.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were up there, top end.
I was, and that's it. And stupid me was trying to get more out of it. So I had that jack plate lifted all the way up, and basically, it was just stupid. I should have been eating more water with the prop than I was. And I got it on video too, but the way the GoPro was mounted, it was kind of high and didn't give it justice of the view. But me being in the seat, dude, I knew exactly how bad it was. And
fucking dude.
Yeah. So it's so I'm very, and it sucks because number one, I'm like an adrenaline junkie. So I'm always trying to go as fast as I absolutely can in whatever boat I have. And But what I don't do is I don't do it when I have people with me, unless it's like a tournament or a co-angler in a tournament who is like, let's fucking go.
And they get it. Yeah.
Yep. Like with my wife and my kids, I don't, I put a lot of shit on TikTok, stuff like that. It looks like I'm, going balls to the walls, but I'm also very, I know what I'm doing. I'm very experienced, so I know when to chill and when I don't have to chill,
Yep.
And that super choppy water is fucking dangerous for a bass boat with only, a foot and a half of draft. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just how it is. So luckily Wes was okay. Fucking scary. Motor got ripped right off, and that's kind of that. Go ahead.
That's amazing. Like, that's amazing that could even possibly happen.
Yep. And that's why, because a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know if he actually hit anything. Well, if he just had a blowout and spun out, which is his motor wouldn't have come off.
Yeah.
His motor wouldn't have come off for a blowout.
Yep.
A blowout is basically your prop, like kind of what happened to me, in a way what happened to me, where your prop just loses water. It just doesn't have any more water, and it just sprints free, and you lose that. It's kind of like the same idea as a plane with lift. You just lose that momentum, and you lose control. So awesome. He was all right. Hopefully he gets his boat, but I mean, they're done for the. Oh no, they were at St. Lawrence, and I actually didn't see if he made it. Shit, I should have been looking to see if he was up there. I doubt he's in his boat, because that looked like that was going to take more than a week of repair.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, so he's probably in that bass cap. But no, luckily he was okay. So yeah, guys, if you're a new angler, or if you're a new angler in a high power bass boat, high performance bass boat, just be humble and
beware.
Know that those things have a lot of power and a lot of shit can go wrong. Wear your vest, wear your PFD, and attach that kill switch.
Wear your kill switch. Yeah,
I very, very rarely am I not wearing my PFD with a kill switch on it. Especially on that choppy water. Smooth water, it's like if you know what you're doing, very unlikely that something could go wrong like that, but it's that choppy water, dude. I don't fuck around.
Yeah. No. You got to be smart, dude. 100%. On that big water, it can get fucking sketchy. Yeah. And I think there's something to that submerged floating dock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's something to that.
It was something there, whether it was a dock, a log, something. He hit something ripped that motor off. Yeah. You know what I mean? It didn't just fall off.
Maybe it was Champ.
Oh,
came up, took a little bite.
Yeah,
might have come up in that lower unit, hit just right, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you," and then flicked it with its tail.
Yeah,
and that motor just went flying. You know?
Yeah.
Fucking champion.
I am an absolute piece of shit for taking it down.
But that's the news for this week. Doom and gloom this week, but we'll see.
JT Tompkins DQ.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. I haven't followed it much this week.
Yeah, I have no idea. What about Dave? Do you have any info on this?
So no, I was actually. It's funny. I was on my phone looking stuff up when I saw Jigs and Bigs going live on YouTube. No, I was actually looking it up because I was like, hey, how did he zero out? And then social media started saying, oh, you got DQ'd. And I'm like, what did you get DQ'd for? And that's when I was on my phone looking for information when I saw I got the notification you guys are going live. So 20 more minutes, I would have had some information.
Yeah. We had, we were having a conversation on the boat today, Joe and Bobby and myself, about failed the lie detector test. Ooh.
I was just we've talked about the lie detector test.
Yeah.
So he failed the lie detector test. Interesting. Wow. Interesting.
I wonder if they log how many people pass it versus how many people fail it. I don't,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure Ken Duke would have some sort of info on
probably,
that one for sure.
I bet you, some kind of info like that. That's shitty. Speaking of other shit in the tournament world, that's a little crazy. You guys seen this Milliken video?
Nope.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Joe, specifically? Because I haven't really followed it much at all, but Joe and Bobby and I were talking about it today. He's like, I don't know if that was a dead fish. And the video quality is sketchy to begin with. And is that what do you think? I'm just curious.
So the thing that gets me with it, and I'm a big Ben fan. And this was tough for me to watch.
Mhm.
And I watched it kind of break down in slow motion, everything. Even if it was a fish that was alive, those fucking fin clips were still on there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And that's fucked up to do that.
Yeah.
So then that makes me believe, like, well, why the fuck would you do that? A fish that was alive? Like,
It's the fish
because
that-
we all know Ben's. I'm a huge Milliken fan. I love Ben, but it doesn't look good, man. Like, you know what I mean? And like, we all get frustrated. We all get pissed. We get frustrated.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
we all know he's kind of had a tough season this year.
Yep.
I haven't read much into it. I just kind of saw that video and was kind of like, oh my God, I don't even want to look any more into this.
Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, so essentially, you know, they throwing dead fish back, whatever, instead of because you're not supposed to cull dead fish. You're supposed to weigh them in.
Mm-hmm. And then take the penalty, right?
Yep. And yeah, and the problem is when he tossed that fish, it was very obvious that there was still fin clips on it. And those of you that aren't familiar with fin clips are basically clips that go on the fish. That for some reason, if the fish appears it might struggle or maybe struggling, it kind of keeps them buoyant and
Keeps
in
them
the right
upright.
position.
Yeah.
Yep, keeps them upright. Those were 100% fin clips on that fish.
Yep.
No, can't deny it. Whether it was a fish that was alive and he just made a mistake and forgot to take them off during a cull, maybe, but it just didn't look good.
That that's I'm gonna have to look into it and see for
Yeah.
myself. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if there's fin clips on there, it's like, why would they be on there? You know?
Yeah.
It's it kind of tells the tale.
I mean, you typically only put them on a fish that was struggling. So
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm glad actually that we mentioned struggling fish, because remember I talked about my week and I talked about that chain pickerel
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I pulled it out of like 20 feet of water.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to learn how to fizz a fish.
Mm,
I got to learn how to
Yeah.
fizz a fish. That fish, like, so I released the crappie from earlier, not in deep water at all. And this
Yeah.
thing it was the slowest, laziest swim away from the boat I've ever seen.
yeah.
He got down there with no problem and was fine. This pickerel did not fucking fare so well. Released him, like tried to kind of revive him in the water, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, he was so deep. It's different for all kinds of fish. Like
Sure.
I've pulled like fish out deep before, and I've had to fizz them, but I've also pulled out fish that were just barely in a more shallow position, and they've swam away just fine. So like, you know, water temperature and stuff, and like where they are and how they eat and all that shit. Like there's a bunch of different factors,
Right.
but that's one thing I gotta learn how to do, man, because that would help quite a bit. Like, you know, it happens in our sport, you know, and that fish, especially where I was, for sure made a great meal for a bird, for
Yep.
sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I was like, I can't get this fish to come out. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat this pickerel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's too big.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yep.
was like 19 inches in this body of water. It's chock full of fucking mercury, man. You know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might be the first. You might be the first person ever to fizz a pickerel too.
I was gonna say, if you do it, he'd be glowing more than your background. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
I think Sean actually fizzed a pickerel, and I think he fizzed one out of this body of water.
No shit.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a 25-inch too.
Yeah.
do you think he'd be willing to do a video with you on fizzing fish?
I don't know that he knows enough to be able to like know for sure. He's seen it done and kind of followed whatever. I don't know. Actually, and now that I think about it, I don't think that it made it with this fish. And I think it was one of those things that he said the same thing, like, I got to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I know it's basically, there's a tool that you can buy. It's like a needle, you know?
Yeah. That's it.
Like a
That's all it
syringe.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you basically just pierce that bladder. But like, really what I got to know is
Where on a pickerel?
yes, like where on the location, because I don't want to go and just, I'm not putting thumbs up for fucking fizzing fish. I just got to know, like, where's the right spot? Where is that bladder on these different species, especially since I like to catch so many different species, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
I gotta go and look into it.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
that'd
it's
be, I think that would also be super sick, because I've looked it up a few times and there's a couple different tutorials on how to fizz a fish. But if
Yeah.
it was somebody like you who's very good at explaining that kind of stuff step by step,
Right.
Yeah.
you could go through that whole video and just have a tutorial. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We could almost post it to the website on a regular basis. So before people go to do any multi-species event by Jigs and Bigs, they can check out all the informational tutorials that you have on the website for it.
Right.
That's not a bad idea. Todd S chimes in. And he goes, I've seen saltwater guys use lip clips on a weight and send the fish down, then yank the line when it gets down to depth. It releases the lip grip and the fish. Not sure if that works. I don't know. I think you'd still have to remove the air from that bladder, because then it's just going to give them the bends all over again. If
Reverse,
them back, that deep, I'd be afraid of doing that. I would probably want to fizz
Eyes probably exploded.
saying,
Like fucking Total Recall.
They don't actually pull the line back. They just wait for it to go limp.
Fish comes back up and it looks like Tom York of Radiohead. Like,
Baby's got the bends.
Oh, sorry. Michael Bradley chimes in and says JT suspected of getting waypoints. Oh, from an MLF official. And from what I understand, the lie detectors aren't that accurate. I see, that's the thing. Lie detectors are not that accurate. They're not. Like, a lot of people make it sound like you failed a lie detector. That means you're a liar. No, that means that the lie detector, something fucking threw it off. Who the fuck even knows?
You had too much caffeine before you took the test, et cetera, et cetera. You could be a really high-strung person and you could fail every question.
Or maybe I just had a colonoscopy the day before. You know what I mean? And I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of shit. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but you know what I mean?
I could say the videos after colonoscopy on YouTube are hilarious.
Oh my God. This is my favorite thing to watch. Colonoscopy farts. I gotta schedule one too. Love those farts. Eyes are out when they pull them in salt water. Yeah, they are just dangling.
Sound like Laces Out from Ace Ventura.
Yeah, there you go. Laces Out, baby. I love it.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come around. We're going to figure out what's going on with segment number 2. We got a couple of FTGs to throw out there. One of them was actually a very positive mention on a previous show in Jigs and Bigs. So we'll talk about that. We have Kevin, Biohazard Bassin, with an interesting FTG where the tables are kind of turned. Lots of times on this show, we have kayakers that will air their grievances about other folks on the water. This is different. You're not going to want to miss out. We'll be back in a bit. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this.
Hell yeah.
So, boys, I'm going to mute for a second because what I need to do, I need to delete some old files on here.
Colonoscopy.
Yep. Can I?
Mute it. Let's see. That fan is not bothering you guys, is it?
Not at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just making sure because it's nuclear in my garage. So, yeah.
You know what I find works? If you angle the fan in a way so that it's hitting you, but it doesn't go across the mic.
That's exactly what I did.
Like, yeah, that helps a lot. Oh,
it's actually just blowing behind the back of my head, so I'm just getting it on the back of my neck, because I don't want to push it towards the mic at all. Dude, thanks for letting me on here, guys. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I'm stoked to have you on here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eject the storage card. All right, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the file management on my laptop directly, and I'll put it back.
I think you can rocket launch release the Pike family. Nick, I love you, dude. That's so good.
I love those species of fish. Like, I love catching them. I think they're so fun. I think they're just, when you get folks that catch like a pike or who was it? It was Binya actually had a story about a pike today. He lost a giant. All right, yeah, here we go. Let's get rid of all these old files. Oh yeah, shows from like July. Oh God. Let's do this. Dink. Oh no. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try and do it where I drop it on Wednesday. I'm gonna be starting to record next week and then try and get a couple under my belt and start dropping on Wednesday.
Shit.
Like every other, because I can only really time and work allowed. I can only do like a couple a month, So, but
All right, there we go, man. There we
Bobby,
go.
Bobby, we're definitely going to be talking about getting you on.
Oh,
pretty
fuck
soon
yeah,
here.
dude. Yeah, the second you're ready to do it, I would love to do it. Especially like I love how you're talking about going like kind of off topic a little bit sometimes.
Mhm.
Like I think
Absolutely.
that's super cool, you know,
Well-
and I love looking at the whole spectrum. I love looking
Yeah.
at the whole.
Yeah.
Such a fucking piece of shit.
Yes, dude, I love it. No, dude, keep it up. No, it's just one of those things. Like, man, you know, you started fishing at 6. Cool. Well, what was your life, dude? Like, tell me about all of it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about I caught a fish and I loved it and I've been catching fish ever since. Like, dude, you've got to have
Yep.
times in high school where you were like punked for being an angler or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about it. Let's get into this. I just feel
100%.
yeah, confidence wise, like all that kind of stuff. I feel that there's a lot there on the table. Like people would, at least I'd be interested in hearing, and I just haven't heard it yet. So,
Yep.
There we go. Let's go ahead and pop this.
Joe, you're already on. You know that.
Hell yeah. I'll be there.
I rocked Joe's ear for like almost an hour while I was at work, Bobby. I felt so bad. I was like, yeah,
Oh, dude, I loved it.
All right, I'm gonna have to try this transfer mode.
Dude, have you seen these? I just got these from my kayak from Brendan Elrod from the Kayak Cushion. It's called Peachy Clean, the silicone loofah. They're these crazy. I think it's the same type of sponge that he puts inside the kayak cushion, but it's supposed to help like clean and exfoliate.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, really interested in seeing
Huh.
what it turns into.
Today, yesterday, or 7/13. Yeah, it's all good. Jesus.
Lost a nice pike today with my Ned. Went back with a beef craw, and he took the claw. Never did get him. Dang, sorry, Todd. Dang.
I don't know why this is saying it's still full. I just moved a bunch of stuff.
I was having an issue with one of my cards doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely, Michael Bradley. You can totally say FTG to that guy and his wife. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's fine.
So you could just,
Yeah, you do. I do
Yeah.
see. I mean, I see that a lot. Where it's like, and they're boats. They can use the launch too, but you have to be considerate of others, just like everyone else is.
just want to make stickers that say "pull out game week" and just stick it right on their kayak boat. You know what I'm saying?
I want to do that. You guys ever see on like Instagram and shit the people that the crew that goes and it's like an audience at the boat ramp, so they bring like a shit ton of people and like
Yup.
they're clapping and fucking. Oh, dude, it's so funny.
All right, we're gonna give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm gonna take the audio off the because it's still like I just deleted like I don't even know how many gigs off of this card, but it's still registering the same amount. So I'm just gonna go ahead and record, and we'll see what happens.
All right.
Do we have a just the tip this week? Do you guys just want to ride in the FTG circle and then throw to interview?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's not
Yeah.
force it.
Yeah. No, I'm down for that. Let's go ahead and pop this screen back. All right, that'll make life nice and easy.
Let's see what
Can I say FTG to the kayaker and his wife who tied up to the boat ramp with no clue consideration for the guy at the dock, me trying to pull out? Yeah, oh, absolutely. In fact, Michael, I have something that I think you will love. Let's go ahead and do it, all right? We'll jump right into it. I left them at the bottom of the ramp, then carried them to the top and left them in the middle. Oh, fucking A. Buckle up. It's going to be a good one. All right. So I got the FTG 4. Jigs and Bigs. Kevin Biohazard Bass and FTG. Boom. There we go. And I think that's all I need because I got my FTG that's just straight verbal. That should be good.
I gotta actually be pulling out, guys. I gotta go do that. I'm really sorry. I'm
Do your
so
thing,
sorry.
dude.
It's all good,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
No worries, man. No
Yeah.
worries at all. We're just
Yeah.
going to do this and then wrap up at the end of the show. Like this is
Yeah.
going to be cut pretty short.
Yeah. Oh, I can
Beautiful,
say I'll just tell her 30 minutes and I'd be good. So
Oh yeah, you will be done by then. Don't
Yeah.
worry
Oh,
about that.
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks.
All right, we are rolling in the good old 3, 2.
Look back. 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 Look back.
it's not very often where we get FTGs like this one that we're going to hear. Like I said before the break, we at Jigs and Bigs, a lot of our listeners are kayak anglers, a lot of them. And we get a lot of FTGs from the kayak angler perspective. Well, this is a little bit different. Now, I'm a little unsure of if this was a wreck kayaker or a kayak fisherman. It sounds to me like a wreck kayaker.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take a listen. This is from Kevin, Biohazard Bassin. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from Biohazard Bassin. I got a FTG. I was at my buddy's house fishing for the week, and we're just me and the kids fishing off the dock. And it's a nice calm lake, no motorboats, so you have no lake lights and shit like that. But a kayaker, this old guy comes right 20 feet in front of us while we're casting our lines. And basically I was just like, hey man, like, can you respect us fishing? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you just went right through where the kids are fishing and you just drove your fucking kayak right through where we were fishing. Whatever. I was like, all right. And then 2 days later, I'm out on the little John boat that he has, and I'm fishing by myself. And this fucking kayaker comes by again, right through the fucking lily pads that I was about to fish. About 20 feet in front of my kayak between me and the shore, and cuts me off. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But people need to be educated. They need to be educated on just respecting people's space and just figuring out, like, hey, this guy's fishing. Let me say 50, 60 feet away, at least 50, 60 feet away from him, minimum.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's my FTG, guys. All right, take care, man. Later.
I can totally understand how that could be frustrating and ridiculous. I feel like when it comes to paddlers, they almost think like, well, how much is this really disrupting what you're doing? You know what I mean? And, maybe there's a little truth to that. Maybe that stand-up paddleboard or that wreck kayaker that's going by, just leisurely hanging out, doing their thing, going through where you're fishing. Maybe it's not really interrupting anything, but I think it gets down to an issue of respect, and space.
Yep.
Like, I also don't want to be responsible for if I cast to that area and you coast right in and end up getting my exposed Ned rig in your fucking face. You know what I mean? Whose fault is it then? I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's shitty.
Okay, so I know for a fact that I've been a bank angler for a long time. So when I got into a kayak, anytime I'm anywhere, whether there's a big boat, which is rare because I try to stay away from them, or what is more often, a lot of bank anglers. Like, I make sure I'm like, hey, where you guys at? Oh, we're straight out here. Okay, I'm going to come out this way. Like, I kind of communicate with them to make sure that I'm way out of the way of wherever they're fishing. I'm not going to fish their water. I'm not going to paddle right through their water. And except for Andy, I mean, I'll cut under his line all the time. Yeah, but other than that, dude, like, it's the communication. Like, we would expect the same respect from anybody else. I don't want somebody casting a 1 ounce jig from the bank at my kayak, for no reason. So.
And I want to say, like, I do think that this is a wreck kayaker he's talking about in the story, simply because he doesn't seem to have any like awareness of fishing at all. The way he was like, hey, can you respect the fishing? Just the way he reacted kind of was just like, you don't matter. You know what I mean? So and then Michael Bradley goes, and this is kind of like lines up with this similar situation that Kevin was talking about. Michael says, can I say FTG to the kayaker and his wife who tied up the boat ramp with no clue or consideration for the guy at the dock, me trying to pull out. They left them at the bottom of the ramp, then carried to the top and left them right in the middle of the ramp. The dock has a kayak launch, but they chose not to use it, which is fucking insane, and actually ties into a story that I've got. He goes, I've had these wreck kayakers come so close that they've gone under my line. It's always the recreational ones, which 100% makes sense. The cost of entry for somebody to get on the water in a recreational kayak or a paddleboard is so unbelievably low that it's not treated with any kind of respect at all. I mean, how many times you see a wreck kayaker wearing a PFD? Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
hardly
Very
ever. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, is it population control? Maybe, you know, but that's debatable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know, and I find it interesting. Michael says that they have a kayak launch, but they chose not to use it. So it's interesting. Like I come from that aspect where like I can't use a typical like kayak launch for my boat most of the time. Like generally, I kind of need to use a ramp, especially being that I'm trailering it and I'm launching right off the trailer. So it's a little bit of a different kind of animal. So like but again, like I treat boat launch rules the same way, you know, like if you want to use the launch, that's fine. There are bodies of water where that's not the case. Now, the story I'm going to tell for my FTG also includes wreck kayakers, and at a dare I say industrial level. So this is the situation. Let me paint the picture. This is Wednesday when I was fishing and I had that great day, multi-species day.
Mhm.
And I'm about to go and head back over to the ramp. Now, this ramp at the lake where I was fishing has multiple lanes. It has 2 wide lanes for boats to be able to pull right down and launch. There's a spot where they park their dredger, like right off to the left over there. But there's a real nice sandy spot on either side of the ramp where I'll go and just beach my boat, jump out, go grab my truck and back down. I back down into one of these lanes and I like to go and hug the left side. If I'm in the left lane, I like to hug the left side of that lane. If I'm in the right lane, I like to hug the right side of that lane to allow more space for people to go. So there's an ample amount of room. Locally, there is I'll say it's a resort spa that's in the area in the Berkshires. We've mentioned them on the show. Sean the Fisherman has actually stayed at their facilities and gave it a rave review. It's called Canyon Ranch. Now, Canyon Ranch has what do you call it? I guess you could call it an agreement with the state to utilize this boat launch for their paddling program. So they come down with, they have multiple vehicles with giant trailers that haul like something like 9 to 12 boats. Like it's crazy. If they're doing the stand-up paddle boards, like they just stack them on top of each other and strap them down. It's the amount of people that come down for this is insane. And then there's a shuttle that brings a bunch of people. Well, this guy pulls down into, so like I said, I'm in the left lane, hugging the left line of the left lane. This guy backs down. Now I've been told by the attendant who works over here for the state that there is a kayak lane on either side. It's skinnier. So that's what, if you're loading a kayak, you go on the outsides, the far outsides, which is fine. I've never heard this before this year specifically, but hey, that's fine. This guy pulls down right on the line in between the two and like parks like cockeyed into my lane. So I can't pull out. Not only that, his attendant that's with him is unloading the PFDs from the trailer and walking directly across my lane to pull my boat out. I am tied up. I'm ready to go. I'm sitting in the truck and I'm just sitting there on my phone waiting to be able to go. The dude looks at me when he pulls in there. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to be here very long. Horseshit. I think he was there for 10 minutes. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, man. Now, I understand that they have an agreement with this place. Did I take a picture? I feel like I did take a picture. I know I took some video. Yeah, you guys can see in this video here.
Oh shit.
Oh wow.
It's in like
I
if you
saw that, yeah.
Yeah, it's in my
What?
YouTube video. I was like, yeah, wait for the FTG this week. So the dude that was working for Canyon Ranch, like, I was like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, this is a public boat launch that you guys have the ability to use whatever your agreement is, but that doesn't mean you can fucking block people in here. Like, what if there was an emergency and I had to get out of there fast?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, just like, come the fuck on.
Look like a bunch of bowling pins. Just
Biggest
plow your
Nick
truck through them all.
says it best. He says pulling out is for nerds anyway.
Fucking
Fucking
nerds.
man. Fucking nerd.
Bravo.
It's just it's ridiculous, man. The
Yeah.
amount of people I think that are and what was it? Michael comments. He goes, it's the rental place where he fishes. That's even worse because the cost of entry is now only 15% of that wreck kayak or what. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like anybody
yeah.
can go. And I get it. Like you want to utilize the water, you want to do everything, but it's like, dude, like let's fucking be accountable. Like if you're Canyon Ranch and you're bringing a bunch of people who are spending big fucking money to stay at your facility and recreate in whatever fashion or do yoga or whatever the fuck it is you're doing over there,
Right.
like, and you're utilizing a public resource to work your program, like you should be following those fucking rules to a T.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, who the fuck do you guys think you are? I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but
Well,
it is kind of interesting that every single FTG was about recreational kayakers.
Mm.
tis the
Are we-
season.
Yeah. Are we seeing a newer, greener version of lake lice?
Oh, might be the vegan lake louse.
Vegan louse.
No, I just feel like if they're making that kind of money anyways, like they have their own private resort, I don't understand why they wouldn't pay, at least because I'm sure the land could, use it. At least the natural resources department would take the money if they built their own ramp.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all this stuff, you might as well get your own ramp, and then that way there's no cross traffic.
Now that I think about it, there's like a camp that has a paddling program further down the way.
Mhm.
And they have recreational kayakers all the time. Like I'll be fishing a spot, and because they're fucking silent on the water for the most part, unless they're like yammering about whatever. Oh, Noah Khan, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
How's your Bitcoin, Bobby?
Yeah, exactly. So they just like swarm around you, and I'm like, okay, I'll just let you guys pass. Like I'm sitting there with my boat on spot lock, like trying to fish the sailboat pattern, and all these freaking kayaks come down through me, and I'm just like, and they don't pick a side. Like they're not. So I have some that are going in between where I'm fishing, and then on the other side, I'm like, just keep going. And when they talk to me, I just look at them and I'm like, I don't speak English. I'm just like, eh? This guy's
It's a
keeping
sign. You gotta do the sign language.
Oh, yeah.
dude,
It's time.
Perfect.
I fucking love YouTube. I'm never gonna make any money on this platform ever, dude. Everything's gonna get shut down.
Why does it only do thumbs up? Why doesn't it do this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, hold on. What's the fucking
Water squirrels, floating fleas. Oh, I like that. Oh, there it is.
fucking fireworks, floating fleas?
Dude, I love it.
It is absolutely ridiculous. It just drives me nuts the way people think or don't think when they're on the water, regardless of the vessel that they're in. Like, we got to all respect each other, whether you're in a bass boat or a little fucking rowboat, or you're in a kayak, a fishing kayak, a wreck kayak, a stand-up paddleboard. If you're on a float tube and you're having the time of your life, respect other people that are on the water, Yep. Nothing makes me happier than when I'm fishing a body of water where there are wreck boaters and I see like a water skier in a cove off in their own space, having a blast, leaving me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Nothing makes me happier. Go get it, man. Go get that shit.
Those are unicorns.
They really are. I almost want to go up to them and go like, here, you deserve a beer.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
You deserve a beer. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We all talk about like, oh, we need to, educate these folks. But the problem is like everybody's so defensive when you try to do that and explain to them like, hey, just a heads up, like they're like, oh, fuck you. I'm here to do whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. O'Doyle rules. That's fine. Like just go ahead and get done what you need to get done. And it's like, it's fucking ridiculous. Zach fucking nailed it right here. He goes, I don't know. It's the same as the road and it's paved with a lack of respect. That's true. That's
Massachusetts roads are barely paved. Let's just
let's be honest here.
California's either on fire or under construction. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. John says, how dare you tell me I fucked up? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to start every statement and go like,
now look, this is not a personal attack. Okay, I want you to take what I'm about to say and don't internalize it about you specifically as a person, as who you're trying to be, your true self, your spirit fucking animal, whatever. But you're a fucking dumbass.
Let's go sit in your safe space and have a conversation.
That's exactly what it is. Oh God. I almost started my trip out today with Joe and Bobby saying like, all right, guys, here you are. Welcome to the implication. You should be aware that this is a boat. This is not a safe space. You're going to hear words. It's gonna happen, you know. And Bobby already, you know, again, like I know the kind of stock that Bobby comes from, so that nothing needed to be said. Biggest Nick says, wait, those taxes don't pave the roads. Todd S is paved with tears. Or this is absolutely a personal attack, Zach says. And, you know, I mean, sometimes you just got to go that way, you know? Like, it's like the time when I called the cops on all those fucking cars that were parked where the trailers should be parked. And I was like, hey, these guys got to go. And the dude lost his mind. And I was just like, yo, this is a personal attack. You're an idiot. Yep. That was my bad. I probably should have approached it and been like, listen.
Let's sit down. We'll have a little kale salad together, okay? We'll talk. We'll talk about our feelings. We'll dig deep. And we'll get a little resolution together. We can make this happen.
Losing my mind. I'm losing my fucking mind.
Oh, dude, you said you belong in my state. I swear to God.
I really do, dude.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I imagine this is probably a little too old for some of our listeners, but I imagine, Dave, that your podcast is going to become something along the lines of like SNL's The Californians.
Oh, I know that one.
Just a lot of people looking at each other going like,
bro.
So fucking good. You should take the 405 because I just went through the.
Yes, dude. Yes. I just went to the Palisades and oh my God. Yep, that is dead nuts, dude. Dead to rights.
The intro should be like the Beverly Hills 90210 theme, like a riff on that, like lots of fucking guitar and shit like that.
I'm
realistic
still looking for music, so I'm not hating it.
He'll probably be the only Californian that ever is on that show.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I know that's the thing. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you what I think would be a great collab if you did Cast and Crank and Whole Angler collab together.
I want to.
That would be
get
amazing.
a hold of that guy. I don't know him, so I will be reaching out for sure.
Fucking great show. Like, yeah.
Yes. No, it's a great show. I love it.
Show.
I'm just saying I don't know him personally, so.
Zach says, I stopped watching SNL when there was no longer the church lady. Zach is letting us know exactly the generation he's from, which is the best generation for SNL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap this sucker up right now. We'll see you guys on the back end of this interview. Stick around because Brad Hicks and I get into it. We talk all kinds of stuff. Is he on board with fucking Skylight Chili or not?
Oh,
you're going to find out. You're going to find out, Bradley. I love it, guys. We'll be back in a bit. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Wrap it up for the last segment. Make it nice and make it fucking sexy. Rolling in 3, 2. I love this shit. I love this show. Dave, thank you so much for being a part of this. This was absolutely awesome. I'm so glad you jumped in the chat and were like, I got my headphones and everything. I'm ready to go.
I'm a big boy.
Look at me all grown up. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, though. Thank you, dude.
Do us a favor, man. Stroke the show again. Let us know about the podcast. Like, let folks know what they're in for. Go for it.
First off, shout out to Zach and Josh from Dark Horse Tackle. Like, I love those dudes to death. Like,
those crazy sons of bitches.
Dude,
I'm rocking them. I'm rocking them today.
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And then and shout out to James and Eric and Scott and Troy over at Kayak City. They're going to be sponsoring my end of the podcast.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so I'm really excited and appreciated them. But it's Brad and Matt who brought it to me. So it's called The Whole Angler. It's going to be a part of the Catch Podcast Network, which is coming. And we're going to be moving forward. I'm going to be releasing episodes on Wednesdays, but it will probably be every other Wednesday for a while. Work and life, I just can't record every week. It's just not going to
happen.
But
no, I think that's smart.
Yeah, and you know, if people like it, we'll do more. It's going to be a little bit more in-depth interview than, you know, just what you catch and what you catch them on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and I'm going to have both of you on there. So we're gonna have a blast for sure.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
Can't
wait.
I got some other stuff lined up too that's going to be real fun. So, it's going to be called The Whole Angler, Wednesdays on the Catch Podcast Network. So,
one of the things, you know, in the interview with Brad that came up, he had showed a picture, and I told him I was going to put it in the Instagram post for that. He mentioned in there, he's like, you know, it's amazing when you're on the river, you see so much nature that doesn't really register all the time, and it strikes you as cool. He's like today I saw a bald eagle, and I was like, that's awesome, dude. Yes. And he shows me this picture, and I was like, that's a really great shot. And then it focused, and this is what I saw.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm like, oh Jesus, dude. So I was like, yeah, make sure to send that to me, and we'll set it up.
Make that the show cover. Make that the cover of the whole thing.
I'm like, yeah, I really could. Although I did, he did also send me a picture of him holding the tank, so I'm going to throw that on there. But I might make that the background.
I could always make his face on
like an Easter egg, dude. Just put
it. You won't get in trouble for censors.
Oh, that's true.
I could send you that picture tonight.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. Yeah. Right. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. You boys have anything you want to throw out there before we put a bow on this sucker?
Nah, man. Busy week coming. Probably won't have much fishy shit next week. I am going out Sunday though. So a week from today, that's going to be the first time I'm able to get out. But yeah,
let's see. This week is going to be pretty fishy for me. I have a wedding that I'm attending that I'm not working on Saturday. Later on in the week, I'm going to be going out quite a bit. I have so on Sunday the 25th, so next week, assuming everything works with this, I have, and I should have actually asked him before how to pronounce his last name, but I've got Michael McCamus on the show from Sack Pig.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike had sent me one of his other rats after seeing some of the content I put together fishing one of the smaller ones. And I'm going to have this on hand like during the interview to kind of show and stuff. And I'm going to get better about getting these on YouTube soon. I kind of wanted to build up a little bit of a library so that if I didn't have a video like this winter, I could just drop some of those interviews like as extra content, unedited and just totally raw, and just let them be what they are.
Yes. Dude, I love Mike. He's so good.
Dude, he like I'm so much looking forward to our conversation because like he gets it. Like, you want to talk about the whole angler, like yeah, dude, he's got like, not only is he a great craftsman with what he's creating for baits, but he really does have a grasp for like what's happening with bass, like what triggers them, and like he's really, really dialed to the species. And I think that that's fucking awesome. We're gonna have ourselves a great conversation, so that will be on next week's show, assuming that everything works out. And there really shouldn't be any kind of an issue. We're actually recording that interview on the day we record all the rest of the stuff for next week's episode, so this will be pretty good. I'm stoked. John Hagan says he's off this week. It's going to get fishy. Good, John. That's very, very good. I have to judge a lot of fish this week too. And then Zach says, he goes, yeah, me too, John. I ain't going to shower the whole week. I think I'll go fishing too.
Yeah. That's a lot of hair.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm fishing with Andy on Friday, so we're going to have a good time.
Nice, dude. Little fucking wiener fingers in the hump. We got
dude.
You're tuned to Wiener in the Hump here on the Whole Angler Podcast.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, we're disgusting. It's terrible. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the show. We've had a bunch of you guys tagging Jigs and Bigs in your fishy content that you're posting on Instagram, then the stuff you're even posting on Facebook. By all means, please keep that up. We love to go and share the love and give you likes, comments, and shares on our end. And it lets, folks kind of see some of what our listeners are catching, and that's always a good thing. Big shout out to the Jigheads. If you would like to become become a jig head, go over to jigsandbigs.com. We have a button there that says join our Patreon. This winter, we are doing a major, I say this every fucking fall, really. This winter, we're doing a major update to the website. We're streamlining it significantly. The focus is going to be on like getting you to where you want to go with the things that work with Jigs and Bigs, which is pretty much it's going to be turning into a glorified link tree, really, for the most part. And you know, which isn't a bad thing. We just want all the stuff in one spot so you can go and do it all. Make it really, really nice and easy to do, including signing up for the scavenger hunt tournaments. Registration is closed for August. It closed 3 days ago. Registration for September is open now. Go ahead and no, what am I saying? Registration opened 3 days ago for September. With August closed a little while ago.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and sign up and register for September. Link is in this bio or is in the description here. You can check all that stuff out. But we're gonna wrap things up. I have to go and hack up something. Yeah. This congestion sucks. I'm going to go take a Mucinex and an edible. We'll see you guys. I hope you guys have yourself one hell of a fishy week. Big shout out to Dave for coming on the show. We got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown getting not so fishy with it this week, but we'll see you guys in 7 days for more Jigs and Bigs action. Don't go too far. We'll see you in 7 straight freaking days. Have yourselves a good one, everyone. Don't forget what we always say.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.
Yeah.
Bam.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% gonna have to fuck around with this.
Yeah. My
and
dudes.
figure out what's up.
All right,
Thank
boys.
you so much. I appreciate it. I got a wife that I got to make up for this right now because that wasn't planned on a Sunday.
Oh, I hear you, dude. Go ahead, do your
That's
thing,
all right.
man.
I
It's
I gotta do
dinner
the
time.
same.
Yeah.
I hear that, baby. You guys have a good one. I'll see you,
All right.
Jigheads. We're wrapping it. We'll see you guys. Thank you so
See
much.
ya.
See ya.